crazy to think like how like when you look at a factory setting of like any product and like you see how it's being made, but like it's also been made that way for like 120 years, you know? So like they had 120 years to perfect that process, and it like it's very overwhelming right off the bat, you know?
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I'm double fisting it right now. I don't
You are actually.
Hey, if you're gonna go hard, right?
I mean,
yeah.
you got the full
Caffeine-
combo.
dude, this is-
hold on.
I have
You
an-
have sweet and sour.
and I also have sugary high and also depressing down.
Yeah, actually,
I like it.
that is
I'm
alcohol.
a best of, as good as the best of both worlds.
It's like a Red Bull vodka. You know, you get like the.
Oh
I've
my
never
God, yeah.
had that.
It's.
I don't know if I want to.
No, you're not missing anything.
I've
Fuck, Greg. This is bullshit.
Greg just said
I've,
Fall Wolf is trash at every video
What is-
game.
Every single time.
Real quick. Well, before we get into
No table.
I know no table, different new formats.
You
New
guys
format.
can see if we're jacking off
New-
underneath the table this
a
time.
new test and format.
all right. Before we get too much into it, quick little mini announcement. After today, we'll actually start uploading these, so you can go watch them
Today's
offline.
the last day, baby.
Yep,
I'm so excited to hear my own voice and
Yep.
your guys' voice
Yep.
and all our conversations.
Yeah,
I've
I
relived
will
the
definitely
conversations,
listen
but I'm
back.
excited to like hear them. Actually hear them.
So after today, you'll be able to watch these live at. We're gonna try for Spotify. They'll be live on Apple Podcasts and the Caffeinated Creators YouTube channel as well. They're all gonna go live at the same time, all 5 episodes, and then from here on out, every other week on Mondays, we will have our podcast live. We're probably gonna do next day morning. We'll see. Maybe that evening. It depends how things go and how we get our workflow set up. But I'm gonna try for the same night, but we'll see how that happens.
Sure.
It's a lot of
I was gonna say,
immediate.
it's
I
a
mean,
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The thing, it also kind of depends on like what time we end it.
Yep.
Too,
Right.
Because like we've had a couple different ending times, and it depends on how much energy you have left in the night to,
Yeah, exactly.
to
Get
try
about
and
that
crank
night.
out the editing and everything.
So yeah, we're gonna try to get everything all set up and Gucci. And for our audio listeners, thanks for coming in. I am Max,
I am Justin.
And I am Mike.
and we are the Caffeinated Creators, and this
Yes,
is our
yes.
bi-weekly podcast. Thanks for joining. And
Welcome on in, guys. Appreciate you hopping in.
yeah. What's going on, Flex? How you doing?
So for both video and audio listeners, we do both. We stream this live on our Caffeinated Creators caffeine account. So if any of you audio listeners want to catch in on the action, make sure you guys check us out bi-weekly on Mondays. And you can see the live process quite a bit in the future before you see it happen in the audio.
Yeah, be here and interact with us and talk to us while we're doing this and everything. And it should be a good time. Oh yeah, and of course 6:30 p.m. CST. Thanks, Kens.
Yep.
But yeah, so let's start kicking things off here.
Yeah.
Mike, what are you drinking tonight, dude? What you got?
I'm drinking alcohol with my name on it, of course. As I always do.
As always.
It has my name, so I must buy it. Mike's Harder, Black Cherry.
Nice.
I'm honestly I'm still,
I can pour a little like
I
tequila
can't-
in that.
I just
you know?
can't believe the combo that I have here. So earlier I went and got cheap McDonald's. You know, it always passes the time. Didn't want to get food out of the way, but Max gave me an ale here, specifically Low Funk. It's a sour ale. Holy, it's actually really good.
Got that for Christmas.
Is this is a Christmas?
Mhm.
Who'd you get it? Who gave it to you for Christmas?
Kenzie's mom
Really?
gave it to me for
Kenzie's
Christmas.
mom gave you this.
The Sour Funk.
Big
that
shout
what it's
out
called,
to
right?
you. Yeah, sour, or no, Low Funk.
Low Funk, I'm sorry.
PH.
It's
Give
sour.
it a little
It's
read
sour
right
ale.
here.
It's pahunk, pretty much.
Yeah.
Low pH.
Low pH.
Oh, okay, hold on. All right.
Give it a
So
little read.
sour ale conditioned with, I don't know how to pronounce that, using a Solera blending method, refreshingly tart with hints of lemon and Belgian esters. Allow your taste buds to boogie down with this funky pleasure. Wild and sour program.
Wow.
This isn't local, is it?
That is local. Yeah, that's
Mobcraft. I was gonna say
Mobcraft.
How many
Yep.
times I've seen that logo
All
around,
over the
that's so
place,
crazy,
yep.
yeah.
So Mobcraft is a crowdfunded microbrewery. And somebody probably paid a couple thousand to get that brewed.
Oh, look
yeah.
at that.
So this
Oh, this is like a contracted
Like
hey,
they
commission,
contact them.
it's a
commission
it's a
base.
crowdfunded craft beer. Yep.
No way.
Yep.
Is this going to be like continued to be
They cycle through.
Like produce then?
No, so they cycle through. That'll be produced for a while, and then I think in like a year or two they'll stop making it, and they'll
It looks
switch
like
on
this
over
was
to
made
something
in
else.
2019. Garb.
That's probably the name of the
2019
Patreon person.
Oh,
They're
is
on
that what it
Patreon,
is?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then this is a beer from Eagle Park. This is one of my favorite breweries here in the area. This is called Setlist. And
That one looks pretty. That one looks like it would put you to sleep. It's all blue. This one's all orange.
This is making a lot more sense because I've always, whenever I come over here, I always see cans that look like this in Max's hands,
Yes.
and I always wondered
Yeah.
why. Like, I'm
Well,
like,
they-
is this the same company, just different brands? Like, what is this? Now it makes a lot of sense.
It's also very particular because, like, I know you guys can't really like feel or see this, but like the labels
There's a
on
film
them,
on it.
it's a very basic like tin can or aluminum can, sorry, but it has a sticker adhesive like manually put on, probably a machine that put it on regardless, but
Right.
like
maybe
it's cool. I mean, probably. I mean, I don't
Eagle
know.
Parks they do them by hand. I'm pretty sure.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I used to have to do labeling by hand too. I know the feels. It felt good.
Justin's brain is a tin can. So this one's Setlist, brewed to get you through your set in one piece. Setlist IPA is liquid proof that big flavor and aroma can come in an easy drinking package. With 3 separate hop variants and 3 malts, this beer has a hop-forward flavor profile of citrus, tropical fruit, and hints of pine.
Pine, interesting.
Yeah, it's
That's an interesting flavor. I never went up to a tree and I was like, yeah, I want this to be a beer.
You ever
Yeah,
just
like,
walk
can
up to
we
a
make
Christmas
this a
tree
beer?
and go, I want to taste you.
I mean, that's probably what the guy who made it thought. And that's probably
That's
exactly what it was.
some like burly dude who's into good beer, you know.
Or maybe a pine cone fell in his beer one day and he's like, damn, that's actually good.
he's like,
no way.
$1 million idea. Hello, Eagle Park, I got an idea.
Call him up.
Kenzie, I hate to break it to you, but I don't think clip works.
No, it doesn't.
No.
But it's
No.
okay because it doesn't need
And we're
to.
recording the whole thing
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so
It doesn't
it's-
need to.
Yeah.
It's all
You
right.
can clip it out of the YouTube when it gets posted.
You're a loser. What? But man, do you think this would taste good with a pine cone in it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think it would actually taste good.
I'd probably throw the beer out.
I can go outside and try and find one quick if you want.
So, have you guys ever had like an insect fall in your drink
Yes.
before?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you guys like to tell your stories of an insect that has fallen in your drink before?
Should I go first?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Do you want to go first?
By the way,
I
I
mean-
I apologize for you. I don't. It's a lot easier to look at Max because
No,
of the
it's-
angle,
I
so
know,
I
it's
just wanna
fine.
let you know.
It's fine. I can tell you right now, I'll go first with my story because
Okay.
it's real short. I've had it happen multiple times, usually while we're up at our family cottage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, during the summer, you're just sitting out there with a soda or whatever.
You're
It's
just
just
chilling with
open.
the bugs, dude.
Right. And, you know, you just kind of do that friendly little check of your soda.
Oh, you
to
gotta
make
always
sure,
check it. If you're outside, you gotta check yourself.
Right? You do a little check. Oh, there was a bug in
Oh,
there. All right, it's tossed.
Swiss said I had a pigeon shit on my fork of
Is it-
twirled spaghetti.
What an unfortunate timing. It's a good thing you didn't eat it though.
Well,
right?
see,
Like,
okay, well, here's-
mid-bite.
At least it would be there because then you can just toss that bit out, ask for a new fork, and then like
True, actually, yeah.
And
It
then
doesn't,
to
it doesn't
continue
fall out,
eating.
But what if it's splattered?
Well,
I'd probably say the whole plate was
Yeah, I
done
was
at
gonna
that
say,
point.
I probably would not eat the whole
I
plate.
didn't even plate at that point.
I probably just wouldn't be hungry at that point, honestly.
Just go home for the day, like whatever.
I'm going to bed. Wait, did you finish?
Start over. Well, yeah,
What do I-
I mean, my story would basically be if I found it in there, it would be toss it out, get a new one.
So I have you know those like those beautiful, wonderful Wisconsin stink bugs that we get, those little triangle beetles that are all over the place.
The ones that are all over the place.
There have been 2 times where I've had an open cup of something sitting
In here?
in here on my desk.
No way.
Yeah, because
Well,
I keep that window
dude,
open and they
How
come
many times
into-
have you seen a stink bug in Max's place?
A lot.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And there's been 2 times. There's been 2 times where I have had an open cup and it literally is like because they fall.
They fly.
They're stupid
They
and
fly
they
around
fall.
and they just go bonk.
Yeah,
and
they just
fall.
Yeah.
fall.
They have,
and
they
I-
have full ability to fly and crawl, but they just climb on the ceilings and then,
And then
fall
fly.
off
and then
like
fall. Yeah,
like they just like forgot to grip or something.
I've had 2 accounts where I've had those falling into my drink.
That is a really
remember as-
depressing thing to think about. Like,
Yeah.
the fact, like you would expect it to be outside, but like in your own house.
I remember very specifically a time that I was talking to Max online and just
Oh my!
just hearing, literally just hearing that he had a stink bug fall on his keyboard.
You do it all the time. I
Wait,
will
on your
literally-
keyboard. In your keyboard?
They just fall
Like-
on my
like
hands. I'll be
literally
playing,
he's-
playing a
he's
game, and I'll
just-
just.
He's just sitting here doing. Like I don't think he was doing anything at the time. I think he was watching a
My
video.
eyes up now, dude.
He was just watching a
They're
video
not
and
in here
suddenly
right
it
now.
just
It's
went
cold. They're all
plop
dead.
right on the keyboard.
So Chowder brings up a really okay. Let me quickly talk about the soda, and then we'll go back to the the birthday cake.
I guess.
God
damn it,
every
this
time
chair,
it's biting
dude.
you.
Ah.
Bark. So very often, back when I was living up north, a buddy of mine, his dad owned a shop downtown. Pretty much think of it like a shop, like a little side shop, like right in the block of Milwaukee.
Like an auto shop.
But no, like a little
Or just
wood
like a-
shop. It was a wood
okay.
shop. It was like a shop, not as in like you would go to make wood, but you would sell the wood stuff there.
Okay.
Got it.
And I would it would literally just be like a hangout sesh, wait for people to come buy stuff. And we would hang out there. I would go get Culver's, get a concrete or whatever, eat my food, and just hang out there. And the amount of times that I've been sitting there, and like once the concrete gets so liquidy, you're like, there's no reason to spoon it anymore, right? You don't need to use a spoon anymore. So you just like mix it up and give it a little swig. You know, you like drink it, you know, pop the cap kind of thing and swig, like drink it. And so many times I've had bees just fall in, and I literally just like I'm literally sitting there, just like hanging out, and all of a sudden I just hear, and it's just like
you
flying
hear it. You
around
hear it
my
echo in the
chocolate.
can.
And I'm literally it's in a Culver's container, so it's like
Oh,
a
yeah,
plastic
yeah.
container, and I'm just like looking at it, I'm like what the fuck, dude? That's like $4.
You just.
I
That
mean,
was $4.
If it was just a bee and it was like
Well, don't
ice
get me
cream,
wrong.
I'd probably scoop it out.
I've
just,
scooped it out, but
and just
they sink. They're like rocks. They fall to the bottom. I mean,
At
they're
that
probably
point, you gotta
dead
kinda cut it,
immediately.
yeah.
You just look in the cup and you're like, you dumb bitch.
Well, okay, but the thing is, Kenzie, like if it's on a hot day, you don't finish it right away, it gets liquidy. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just like, I don't know. Okay, but getting back to what
Or
Chowder
you
said,
could just eat them up. You know, I heard they're good in
I mean,
fiber.
protein, yeah,
Yeah,
protein, fiber. I heard it actually makes you fly too. You didn't
Alright,
hear
I'll
that
be
one?
right back. I'm gonna test out.
So back in like I don't even know. This was probably in like 2014, 2013. We'll call it 2013. We stayed all at the night at a buddy's friend's house. It was Chowder's brother and his house, and his mom's obviously. And we were celebrating Joey's birthday. Jam and Joe, you guys, if you know him, part of the Caffeinated Creators. And before we all went to bed, our buddy Chris ended up wanting to have a piece. And so he went upstairs, grabbed a piece of cake, came back downstairs. And we're like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. But preface, the house had a little bit of an issue with ants. So, like, you'd pretty much be taking a shower with ants, like crawling in the bathtub and stuff like that. They were all over the
Nice,
place. It was
dude.
just naturally ants everywhere.
was it an old place?
It was an old building, but I think it was mostly just like, I think there was literally just an ant infestation in the house. And the house was huge. I mean, it was a big house. So, like, there was a lot of places for ants to be for you to not realize it right away. And slowly over time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Wake up the next morning, I'm like, man, I want to eat some cake. No one really ate much cake. There was a bunch left. I'm like, let's go eat some cake.
Yeah.
I go upstairs. I just see it. I could see it from across the room. I saw that the lid was lifted. And I was like,
no.
bro, please don't fucking tell me. And sure enough, I walk over and I lift up the lid.
They're
Before I
just-
even
they're
lift up the lid,
just all
I
there.
could just see through the little window in
Ugh.
the box. And I was like, it was just ants infested the whole
Well, yeah, they're
cake.
attracted
The
to
whole
the sugar
thing.
and sweetness.
Oh, dude.
There
Like,
was-
literally, if you were to eat it, you probably would. It wouldn't have been far off of baking ants in the cake.
Like 50%,
was fucking
50%
horrible.
cake, 50% ants.
It was absolutely horrible. I honestly, I forever have a very strong relish of ants.
We
to this day.
haven't had issues within the last like year and a half, almost 2 years now. But when we first moved in here, because the house was sitting vacant for like a really long time,
Yeah.
because there's nobody here. The lawyer downstairs hadn't moved in yet.
Mhm.
There was nobody up here. The house was sitting vacant for a really long time. Anytime there was like a crumb of anything that landed on the ground or countertop within you could give it an hour, there'd be ants all over the place. That hasn't been an issue.
It's a good thing that that's not a thing.
Yeah,
anymore,
that
because
hasn't-
ants are bad. Ants are like kind of hard to get rid of too, because you have to find the source of them.
Yeah, you have to follow them back and everything. So, and there was one time, dude, I had a night in here in VR chat, and I had spilled
God.
like a bottle and everything, and I didn't. I thought I cleaned it up, but there's some drops I missed.
Oh my god,
dude! And the next morning there were so many ants, like right over here.
Wait,
it was,
didn't you were telling me there was ants in your fucking?
Yeah, they're in my computer.
I remember
Yep,
that. I remember you told me that there was ants inside your
They were
PC.
in the fucking computer. They were literally crawling up. They were going up into the back and going up through like the fan holes on the bottom, and they were literally in the computer. I had to completely like go and like vacuum it all out, throw it out.
That's the kind of stuff that like breaks computers too. Like I mean, insects going into computers could definitely short circuit stuff.
Luckily it was all
They
right.
set on one capacitor and they go on one.
Dude, I'm gonna be real. I thought it was Beat Saber, but my arm hurts.
See,
Told
you.
Is this your first or second shot?
It's a painful shot.
It's just sore. It's like
but is this your first or second shot?
First one.
Okay.
Hopefully
so
it doesn't feel worse when you
on
wake
the
up
first
tomorrow.
shot, I had a lot of soreness in that spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will say on the second shot,
it wasn't as bad.
my
for me.
entire body was sore.
Oh my god, your whole body got sore. Did you get sick?
No,
I've heard people saying that like it'll knock them out completely.
You're very possible to get sick. I mean, like it's however your body reacts. But
what was weird to me was I got the shot. I got the shot and then went back to work and worked the rest of the day and I was fine. It wasn't until the next morning. When the next morning when I woke up, I literally got up out of bed. I was just all sore. Everything.
My second one will be in a few days. That one. So you guys got both or just the one? Or
I got both.
I got
So did you do same arm both times?
Yeah.
Or did you
No,
switch it up?
I did both.
No, I did both left.
Each arm.
Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to put it in the same place. So like when he asked me, he sat me down. He asked me, he's like, "Do you want it in your right arm or left arm?" And I was sitting there. I was literally thinking,
You always go with your non-dominant.
WASD keys or my mouse hand.
Always
like,
non-dominant.
Like I was
Never
like,
mouse hand.
I was like, what is gonna not let me play Halo?
Mouse hand probably would mess you up.
That's
Just think about it this way, all right? Remember that Shroud broke his arm, and he is so thankful it was his left.
Yeah, no, that's
Remember,
100%.
just always think about that.
Yeah. So I'm cool with my left. We're Gucci. I'll have my WASD keys. Will be a little sore for a little while, but we'll be good.
You'll get around to it. Honestly, there's quick long short off story. I cut my finger pretty much. I like cut a good chunk of my thumb off at one point when I was working with Julian. I couldn't play Rocket League for so long, man. It was the worst thing in the world. Oh my god.
That was like when I broke my collarbone and I couldn't ride my motorcycle almost all summer,
God.
dude.
I mean, I know that you were super into it, so I can only imagine what that would feel like, not being able to do something you want to do.
It got to the point where I was like, fuck it, I'm going to pop a couple Vicodins and I'm going to go out and the next night.
I was going to say, Kenzie says, but you did instead.
Well, I mean, yeah, the meds helped.
I've been fortunate enough not to break anything ever, but the closest thing to that was getting my wrist tattoo, and then not being able to play a lot of stuff because it's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so true. I didn't even think about that. Well, how long did you keep the wrap on you?
Well,
it would still fucking hurt.
Well, see, the wrap that I got, she told me to take it off like within an hour, so it wasn't wrapped up. I would just like lotion it up and everything.
Now that you bring it up,
and
I never really thought about that when I got mine.
Wednesday, I'm gonna do the same.
But you got yours back when you were still probably playing. No,
I was still PC gaming,
Yeah,
but it wasn't
yeah.
anything like it was now.
As
I
of,
mean, that
as
was
of
back when I
Wednesday, I'm
was
gonna be
still
screwed
working,
again.
and I was
'Cause
working
I'm
on
getting one right
lifeguard
here.
stuff. That was the worst part. I was a lifeguard, so like I had to keep it wrapped.
You were
up
a lifeguard?
You didn't know I was a lifeguard?
No.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
I was a lifeguard for like a year and a half.
Did you wear like a sexy one piece red?
Well, you got to think. I don't think there's very
No.
many beaches in
Kenzie.
Wisconsin. So like, no, I was a lifeguard for like a year and a half. I worked at it was a hotel, but like I got Red Cross trained, and I mean I was also in swimming for like 3 years. So.
Oh no, you're right. I think I knew that. Was that the time with the story with the lady
Yes,
where you
yes,
lifeguarding? Okay.
yes,
yeah,
it is
I
that
did know
story.
that. I did know
Yes.
this.
Thank God.
Is that like a podcast story?
I mean, I didn't get charged or anything, so I think it could be a.
Charged.
Nobody got in trouble.
That means I don't know the story. I knew about the lifeguard.
It was complete and pure innocence. It just turned out being such a convoluted story. Okay,
go ahead.
Fuck it.
Share
We're
it.
already
Yeah.
here. Okay, so I was a lifeguard for a year and a half. Yeah, I wasn't charged. Okay, so
Start from the beginning.
In June or May of like 2015, I ended up getting a job as a lifeguard, whatever. Worked there for about a year and a half. And in that time, I got like trained. It was like water slides and just like roaming around, and then some snack bar and arcade shit, whatever. But mostly for the part that I'm getting at is there was a time that I was sitting up on the slide, and there was a little girl that was going down the slide, and she was literally the only one. It wasn't very busy.
This is starting to ring a bell.
Times. And long story short, I said that I liked her swimsuit because she was wearing like a multicolored swimsuit.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And she
story.
went down to her mom and told her that I was hitting on her, or that I was like hitting on her. And at this point, I was 18. I was 18, like freshly 18 out of high school. And essentially that mom ended up went and bitching to the front desk saying that her daughter wouldn't come out of the room because they were staying at the hotel. And I got really close to receiving some spooky charges just because I friendly told a girl, like a little girl, she was probably like 12, that I liked her fucking swimsuit.
I think I might have been thinking of a different story.
I definitely like.
Which different story?
I've heard this story before, and this like
it was pretty crazy.
That ring like
me, I was terrified, man.
What was the beach story when you had the really long hair and like some woman came up to you and your buddy or whatever and was like coming on to you guys?
Okay, well that's at the same place.
Was that not lifeguard time or no?
No, that was definitely still lifeguard time.
Dude, I think I need to become a lifeguard. It sounds like that's a crazy.
Now that you bring it up,
you can go from the full spectrum of being hit on by older women to being accused of hitting on to underage.
I mean, that's exactly what it was. There was literally a night that there was, because we had to close up the hot tubs at like 11 or whatever, and then we'd be out by 12. And we closed up the hot tubs, and there was these older ladies that were like literally pretty much saying like, hey, meet us in our room. And like I was with Zoe at the time still, as obviously I'm still with her now, married to her. But yeah, that was definitely a thing. And I remember my buddy, I'm not gonna say his name, but he
take the chance.
He really wanted to. He went back inside. So like it was in the winter.
He was ready to roll the dice,
out
baby.
to our cars.
I'd probably be on the same side, honestly.
We walked all the way out to our cars, started him up, and he's like, "Bro, I want to go back inside." And he did. He didn't find him though.
Damn.
Oh man.
What a missed fucking opportunity.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is they weren't attractive or anything like
okay,
that, but they were just two drunk old ladies.
But that's
older ladies.
That's a life experience.
That
opportunity doesn't come around too often.
No, it really doesn't.
God, no, it doesn't.
Mommy, sorry. Like, come on, you know.
I mean, I'm glad I have some self-control, but I mean, other than that.
Yeah, I respect obviously the fact that
don't get me wrong. If I was single, like, why wouldn't you? But given the situation, that was literally when that.
What are
happened.
you saying? Is he was perfectly fine getting the tail he got at home. He didn't need those.
I literally
little sugar mama action. Hey, what's going on, Pugly?
I quit that job probably like 4 months after that happened.
All right, so Justin,
that's when I moved here.
Justin, I need to go to the beach with you and have them hit on us, and then you have the self-control while I go take care of them.
All
okay,
right, I'll
cool.
do my best.
Sick.
Yeah. Can you wingman me for some like for some mommy milkers? Like, is
hey, back
Kenzie,
off.
is this all right?
Off.
Like, I'll invite you. You're welcome.
You've
to come.
got some. I don't.
Hey,
all right?
thank you, Pugly.
Yeah,
Happy New Year to you too.
By the way, guys, I don't want to digress from that, but like, this is our first podcast back from New Year's.
Oh, it's
yes,
2022, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is 2022. We probably should have opened with that, but like that's okay.
Yeah.
Happy 2022, guys. Honestly,
when you're working every single day, kind of just like
I almost forgot about today. I was thinking about it for like 4 days straight. I was like Monday. Today I was like totally in a wash, and Max hops back on TeamSpeak after he said he left. He's like, "Hey, the podcast today, right?" It's like, "Oh fuck, that's right, yeah."
As we said in the previous podcast, because we were talking about like New Year's coming up. To us, it's not that huge of a thing. I think that's why none of us thought about like,
New
oh
Year's.
yeah, it's New Year's. That's right.
The only thing that was
Because
New Year, new me.
Yeah, it's just a number. It's just a year.
For me, the only thing that I was really looking forward to was literally the day after, which was Echo's birthday. So
Right.
for me, it was mostly thinking about her birthday rather than New Year's.
Yes.
Did you guys
Dude,
watch
think
the
of
ball drop?
Can we get?
Yes,
can we
I
get
did. Yeah.
Can we get a happy
Both.
birthday in chat to Baby Wolf? She is officially
Yeah.
1 year old.
Yeah,
Officially
dude,
1
look
years
at all
old.
this shit happened. We got New Year's, Christmas
She's getting so
happened.
big, man. It's crazy.
You've had the BB for fucking a year now.
Mm.
Damn, son.
Happy birth.
I watched a potato drop instead of a ball.
That sounds about right, Darian.
You know, it's actually funny. I got a potato drop on New Year's from Tender.
Hell yeah.
Tender
Happy New
Tender
Year,
always
baby.
coming out there, dude. He always reps.
Tender, you're looking out for the homies.
I think he actually dropped one on you. Literally, that's maybe no, it was Nick.
He came
It was
around.
Nick.
He came around
Nick
and dropped
is
one
what
on
I
me
saw.
too. But
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
dro-
he
dropped
goes
one on
around
Nick
and gets the
said
homies.
to the Needs Hair Foundation or something.
Yeah, dude. Said that you need to donate it to the Need Hair Foundation. Too funny. Good stuff.
does Caffeine have to send licensing to Idaho every time a potato gets dropped?
Idaho?
To get the legal rights to use a potato.
Does Idaho own the rights to the symbolage of a potato?
Idaho is the potato state, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yes,
no,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
I mean, is that even possible? Can you own the idea of a potato?
No.
Is that possible in American copyright? I don't think that's
No.
possible. I think you have to
because
take that to Korea.
The thing is with copyright, you have to have like made it.
Trademark.
Like, you have
trademark.
to have come up with the
Trademark,
idea.
yeah, trademark.
You're thinking of
is,
trademarks, yeah.
Well, so in America, you can't copyright or trademark like an idea of something, but you can copyright and trademark the actual item itself. So you can't copyright T-shirts, but you
Right.
could copyright the branding of the T-shirt for you.
I think we should create spherical, like a
Dyson
sphere. No, like like a sphere of. Don't get me talking about space shit. We're never gonna,
trust me, we've already been down that round last
Yeah,
week
right,
or
right,
2
right.
weeks ago.
yeah, like a potato that grows as a perfect sphere. And
There's a watermelon that do that, dude.
and-
They're genetically.
and we'll trademark spherical potatoes.
We could
and then
do
that
it.
way we can say we could trademark the
we would
potato.
have to genetically recreate a spherical potato.
We'd
and
have to
it's whenever it's
selectively breed potatoes.
possible. Dude, can we please do an experiment of potato genetics? Like I want. That would be an amazing time to see. Honestly, that would be so amazing.
You gotta be kidding me. How is it lagging, dude?
I don't
I've
know.
done so many streams in the last couple of days, and how is it when
Let
I
me check.
come to go do this?
Maybe it's your VPS that you open up.
No.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that was what caused all this?
I'd
hey,
cry.
To be fair, I mean, Austin was in a similar position. You know, he was messing with his server stuff, and to be fair though, that was probably just his.
Well,
server
what
stuff.
what I did was literally designed to reduce
it's
network
horrible.
traffic.
It could be. It could be.
Oh wow, yeah, it is.
Or-
Okay.
Yeah, did it just start up? I'll take a look here and
Turned on.
see. Oh, it's stuttering, but at least audio is still
It
good.
definitely is not doing great,
Well,
but
Well, what I will say is, as a segue about copyrights and trademarking,
Keep going. I'll check and make sure see what things are going on here.
something I just remembered, like while we were talking about like trying to copyright and what's it called, copyright and trademark. Do you guys remember? You guys know the Fine Brothers, right?
no, the Fine Brothers.
Like the people that do like the React stuff all the time on YouTube.
Give me like context, I guess. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people. on the
Like
internet that do that, so.
they
Is it two, I'm assuming it's just two guys, right?
Well, what they do is they do like the YouTubers react and the kids react, the elders react.
oh, they're the ones that do. They're the people that made the video that got really viral, where it's like, this game's just appealing to the male fantasy.
Yes, that
Okay,
one. Yeah,
yes.
it's that
Okay.
that's their format, and that's what they
Or their
did.
format or that channel.
Well, that it is that channel,
Okay.
but like that's what their content looks like. Is
Okay.
it's always people looking at the screen and reacting to things. But fun fact, did you guys know that a couple of years ago they tried to copyright the word react
Are you serious?
because they were
What?
because they said people were trying to steal their idea of content, because like their entire content was based around having people react to videos, so that when like more YouTubers started doing like reacting like memes on Reddit or reacting to viral videos and stuff like that,
Mhm.
they were saying like they were stealing their idea, and they literally tried to copyright the word react.
They tried to copyright
I was
React.
gonna say, I
Yes.
can't even imagine what that would even like.
If you
entail
look
to
up-
try and copyright a word.
If you look up Fine Brothers React copyright, I'm sure it'll come up. And they quite literally tried to copyright the word react so that when people would put it in their titles,
yeah, they'd have to get
they'd have to get like royalty or something.
Oh
for it.
my
could you
God.
imagine if that were actually happening? There's a case of that happening? Didn't that? What am I thinking of? I'm pretty sure there was a case of that happening, like somewhat recent, of people trying to collect royalty on exactly that, like a title or like a word.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like
I wonder if
I'm
I've caught wind of that. Or
I'm
not.
thinking
I mean,
of
this
what.
was a couple years ago. I think they gave up on it.
Hey, thank you for those
Interesting.
fireworks, Adam. Appreciate it. That's really bizarre. There was something. Yeah, I'm blanking on what it was, but something happened recently where there was another company that tried trademarking like an idea, like a flatline idea, and I don't remember what it is.
A company came out with a flatline idea. You're saying?
Yeah, I'm checking stream really quick here just to see like if we've
still
improved
lagging?
at all. It looks like we're still lagging a little bit.
So I do know that Caffeine was doing some like stuff
Yeah.
today, but I don't think this would be attributed to that.
I don't know.
maybe
Yeah,
not.
Caffeine was having issues today, but I don't think that this is.
I did see that.
Let me
at
go take
everyone.
a gander at someone else here. Let's go see. Take a quick.
All I'm worried about is if audio is stuttering. If audio for the most part is okay right now, then
I mean, the audio is what really matters.
yeah.
Truly.
But it seems like it's okay.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a stutter here and there, but it's definitely a network thing, and that's outside of my control at this point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It seems a bit like yeah.
The audio should be fine.
On our end, it's okay.
Yeah.
Everything looks fine on my end. So at this point, I think it's either
Absolute worst of the worst. The recording will capture the correct stuff.
Right, yes.
So regardless, we'll have it on the audio, which will be permanent.
Just
Less
means
Yeah,
than
honestly,
I was
yeah.
gonna say. So that's what it matters. That's where it matters.
Just means you might have to go find it on the YouTube.
yeah, listen to it live, right?
Maybe
It's Matt.
maybe eventually on Spotify too. Who knows? Maybe not.
We're that's
We're gonna
that's
try
the main
for it.
goal.
It's gonna take a little bit of work, but
My main goal is to act.
I mean, okay, let's be honest here. If Max can get his songs on Spotify, I
was
think we can
gonna
get our
say,
podcast
but
on
Yeah.
to be
Spotify.
fair, it is going to be a lot more consistent, and we're going to try and get it underneath a podcast, less than a song. 'Cause
Right.
obviously, we want it as a podcast.
No. I mean, that's how you upload.
No,
is you
I know,
upload
I
as, Yeah, and then it's all good. Spotify isn't too
That's
bad.
where
for
I'm
podcasts.
honestly, I'm kind of a fan for
Spotify is where
Spotify
I
for
listen
podcasts.
to my podcast.
So
Yeah,
like
same here.
So like people okay, I think that's funny because like I started like before I got an iPhone, I didn't do anything with podcasts. And then when I got my iPhone,
Well,
they
have an app.
came
Yeah.
with the podcast app.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. And then I got hooked.
Mhm.
And now all my podcasts that I subscribe to or listen to or anything like that all goes through Apple Podcasts.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, and that's completely fair. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. My biggest thing is like I just got used to using Spotify in general forever, like any audio, anything.
Yeah.
And like Mike can say the same, but he was YouTube for a while. But obviously, I mean,
Which
YouTube
before
just has
before
mostly
I was on
music.
Spotify, I listened to podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
The only podcast that I watch/listen to on YouTube is the Linus Tech Tips WAN show.
I never watched any of any tech podcasts. The only tech podcast, quote unquote, would be my
The WAN
Neil deGrasse.
The WAN,
Tyson.
yeah,
Yeah.
the WAN show is interesting because it's the only like long format content that LMG ever puts out.
Really?
So yeah, because every now and then, every rare moment, they'll do like a live stream of like him building a computer from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
But they rarely ever have any long format content.
Actually, you're pretty right about that, especially considering all like the channels and stuff like that they have posting, but they usually don't really do anything unless it's
A 10-minute video.
yeah, like a 10-minute video that has like short snippets of like cutting between, getting rid of the B-roll and just having it like short snippets in between of doing different stuff.
But yeah, no, I think it's interesting because, like I said, I never really got into it until I had the app already in front of me, and then I was like, I'm gonna go browse around, and then I got hooked, and that's one of my favorites too is Ear Biscuits. I used to listen to Ear Biscuits.
Biscuit is so good, dude.
Ear Biscuits is
Ear
great.
Biscuit
Hey man,
is
thank you so
so
much.
good.
Appreciate you, dude.
One podcast I picked up at one point that I feel like I kind of need to pick up again is Pete Holmes' podcast. I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
Who's Pete Holmes?
Yeah.
It's a guy who does a lot with College Humor. If you've
Okay.
seen College Humor's
Let's be
Batman,
honest, it's big on Facebook.
if you've seen College Humor's Batman, he's College Humor's Batman.
Oh,
what was
is
the?
he?
Mm-hmm.
What was the
Okay.
What was the podcast that was really blowing up for a long time? It was a Barstool Sports. I forget what that was called, and then it like completely like disappeared because of like they changed who was working at it and who was like up on it. It was popular for a while.
Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan's podcast is interesting.
You made it weird, is what it. You made it weird.
You
with
made it
Pete
weird.
Holmes.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of Pete Holmes' face.
He's the left one. He's not. Like I recognize him from things.
I recognize
You know what?
his
I
mouth
100%
from
recognize
Batman.
him. Show.
I recognize this literally just his mouth
I would say
because
Yeah,
of,
go ahead,
because of the Batman videos.
Or if it's
that
easier,
he's
you can
made.
pass it to me and I can.
Like that's literally the only reason why.
the short
that
guy.
face
We're looking
looks
at the
familiar.
short guy.
No, the tall guy.
Oh, the tall guy. I lied. Sorry. I recognize the short guy.
Audio listeners, I'll catch you guys in next week.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about that I thought would be interesting, like an interesting topic
Correct,
to talk
Kenzie.
about, would be like a community driven thing that we have tried doing in the past. I want to frame this into a conversation that's like able to talk about because it's something that's going to be very relevant in the next upcoming months here. But the nuances of trying to run a large scale gaming community on platforms that revolve around RP.
Like, okay, I see where you're trying to go with that. I think the wording was a little off.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure
no, the
out.
wording was there. That hurt though. Just hearing that, just hearing the pain of thinking about that all again.
So a quick synopsis here before we get into, because are you guys cool talking about it for a
Yeah,
minute?
no, absolutely.
Because I think it's an
Absolutely.
interesting topic.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of logistics to think about with it, honestly.
So go back almost a year now. We launched
Over a year.
almost over a year. We launched a 5M multiplayer like GTA 5 roleplay server that we launched here and had a bunch of people signed on to play and set up, did all this testing. We spent hundreds of playtest hours. We spent hundreds of development hours to try to build this like RP community on a 5M server and everything. And we tried doing it small scale. Well, we wanted large scale, but it ended up being small scale. But we were
Big
kind of
scale
shooting
was-
for the moon on this. And I think that the thing I really want to talk about the most is how crazy it is on how badly you have to have a stable community to be on something like that in order for it to be successful in a way.
Yeah, no.
In order for it to work.
Right? Yeah, to function properly, to
I
just
mean,
function.
Right off the bat, one of the biggest things that I've noticed that is like a huge determining factor in seeing it actively, because when you think about it, I mean, there's plenty of 5M servers out there. Obviously,
Right.
some are popular, some aren't. Mostly aren't. But I mean, when you think of like NoPixel, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know any other RP servers, but
No Pixels, the only one I know.
They're like top dogs, so good example.
You literally have to wait hours to be able to get in. But that's the thing, is there's players waiting to get in. Like they're waiting to be able to play.
Which
you know?
means no matter what you're doing
Unless
in
you're
that
whitelisted.
server,
There's white
yeah,
lists.
if you're in that server and you're playing, that means that there's going to be police to help you and
Police,
prevent crimes.
EMS,
There'll be people to save you if you get injured or killed.
repair.
There's going to be people there to repair
street
your cars.
racing.
Yep.
I mean,
And there's activities. There's people to interact
There is
with.
always a huge part of any
there's
part of
hundreds
the
people.
community to interact with.
I think NoPixel houses, if I remember correctly, I think it was 150 players or 200 players, somewhere in the ballpark of there.
Isn't it with No Pixel you have to like apply?
Yes.
Mhm.
To
Yep.
get
It's a
in
whole
there?
application. There's a lot that goes into getting.
There's a
into
big
NoPixel.
screen. Yeah, you literally can't just open 5M and expect to play NoPixel the same day.
You can get into the queue, but it's going to tell you that you have to
Yeah.
be whitelisted to even join.
Yep. But I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's so interesting. We're The reason being is because we're talking about within like the circles of the CC, relaunching the 5M server
to a degree.
In some way.
in
some
a
capacity.
in a version that will allow for like if you were on by yourself, you can still have fun and play the game and have plenty of things to do that doesn't revolve around the requirement of other players to be even. You could be the only person on the server and still potentially have fun.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that.
I mean, we had our fun. Like, don't get us wrong. We had our fun with
That's
it.
why I think it's such an interesting topic because when it came down to the 5M server, it was fundamentally successful in what our goals were to do with it. But
It just required the people to run it.
But at the same time, it was one of the biggest things, the most commitments we've ever done before, with the highest expectations
And the lowest outcome.
and the lowest possible outcome. But somehow it was still successful on fundamentally in what we wanted to achieve. But at the same time, it felt like such a failure.
Yeah.
That's what's so mind blowing about that project that we did.
It was a very interesting project because, like, I mean, most of all, I would say a lot of the coding and a lot of the actual like legwork was definitely done by you. And
I mean, yeah, but you did all the nuance
mean,
work when it came to any sort of imagery or any of like the inventory stuff, and like you basically were the reason why our inventory had icons. Like,
dude, those icons. I'm gonna be honest, it was so much fun. But thinking about like, imagine going down a list. Imagine going into a game, right? And you go to a shop.
And it's just
Who makes all those items? Who makes all those images? Who makes the names? Who makes the list? Who makes the different shop locations?
but
Like,
before we get
Oh,
too in depth with it, let's just like talk about what our goals were with this, and our goals were to provide a fun server.
consistent,
Well,
operable.
an operable server that worked, a fun time where you can go in and still have fun, and fundamentally a platform for great content.
Yeah.
For
Right.
everyone involved.
I mean, it worked to a degree because we had us in the group in the high up positions to keep things running. We had Justin as chief of police. We had you as the head of all the crime stuff. Me as a mechanic to make sure things were handled well.
The only person we didn't
We
have
had-
a main of was the EMS.
Which kind of became
Kenzie
Kenzie.
was-
Kenzie
yeah,
kind of
Kenzie
took
was
over
kinda
that.
Kenzie was
main
kind of
EMS,
the
yeah.
main.
Kenzie
main
was
that and the
head
judge.
EMS and judge as well.
Yeah.
So like
Kenzie best judge.
we had the staples for the community. We just needed the other players to kind of fill in.
Yeah.
So between development, working on it, advertisement, gameplay, everything that we did on this to make it what it was, what do you guys think was the most exhausting portion of that endeavor?
playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Play-
Why? Okay. So
At least
so
for me. At
it's
least for me.
playing it for
exhausting.
Justin, yes.
Exhausting. What was exhausting and why?
Okay, so most exhausting would have been literally just playing on the server and like doing what it was meant to be, a streamer playing on it and doing everything, and simply just because in my position I was streaming, I was streaming with a persona, I was playing a game with a persona, I was messing with DDT menus or MDT, sorry,
Yep.
MDT menus. I was messing with Bolo plate menus, trying to like get speeds, trying to like maintain, like making sure that I knew where like my police officers were going, and like making sure that they had money to be able to buy items and get vehicles, and like just all of that stuff. And like it was the only reason it was so exhausting is because everyone looked up to me to handle any of the scenarios that needed to be handled. And it would have been a lot better where it would be if it was more self-sufficient, and I would have been able to do my own thing rather than trying
You needed like 10 police officers.
exactly.
Right,
I
right.
needed a lot more people, and especially I needed to go through and teach them, like be like, this is what you do. Don't do this. Make sure you do this, and like go through and like I said, I mean, essentially I needed to vet cops.
It
Yeah.
was
That's exactly what it was, and it just was. It was a very heavy thing to do because there were so many people who were like, I want to be a cop. I want to be a cop. And they wanted to come in and they wanted to be a cop. But then like I wasn't available to help them when I needed to. And like,
Because you were dealing with crimes because there wasn't enough
Exactly.
police
Right.
I
officers.
was gonna
Officers
say
that,
it was
like-
a very exhausting position for Justin because a lot of the times it was him and maybe one other police officer on at the time.
Yep.
So like there was no break because everyone else wanted to play robber more
Which
than
is
cop.
fine.
And the problem with that
That's
is
fine.
the server required two police officers to be online in order for
To
anyone
rob
to
stores.
commit crimes.
Well, specifically rob stores.
Yes.
Because
Well, there was a lot of stuff. Even some of the jobs and everything required cops. Like you couldn't
Really?
even work. Yeah, if you were
because
all the
it
drug
alerted
jobs,
cops. So
any of the drug jobs,
like moonshining and stuff.
moonshining. Yep.
Really?
Any
You
of
need
the
cops to be on to moonshine? Are you sure?
the NPC heists, minimum 2 police officers. Everything was limited pretty
Are you
much.
sure you had to have cops on the
well,
moonshine?
remember it
Not
wasn't.
moonshine.
It
Moonshine
wasn't.
I was gonna
fine,
say.
yeah.
It wasn't on at first, but then we changed it to that because we were running into such an issue of people literally just robbing.
I mean,
robbing
there was
stores
plenty of people
when
who
no
were,
cops were online.
were
Yep.
in the U.S. that were playing all night on our nighttime and just like gained money. I mean, think about it. Think about how fast you gained a Tesla.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the
I-
mechanics.
I-
You're making a lot of money.
Well, I quite literally.
I mean, he
I
did make some
recently
decent
just
money,
let him
too.
know that like
Yeah, I
there
didn't
was
know
plenty
about
of
this.
times that I would go. I would realize
You're
that
my
you
friend.
are committing crime somewhere else, so I'd go rob a store somewhere else. Like you'd be doing a heist, so I could go rob a store because only one store can be robbed at a time. But the heist and the store were on different sets.
yeah.
So while you're doing a heist in the city, I go out to the gas station way up at the north end of the island and rob that store.
I will say,
And no cops would respond to that because they're all busy with your ass.
the amount of times. So this was, you know, what was the biggest issue? We had no dispatch.
Yeah.
There wasn't
enough people to have a dispatch.
There wasn't.
Right,
There
exactly.
couldn't have been. But like there was no structure to where cops would go. It would be
Just all units respond pretty
call
much.
like literally whip out like I would hear a bing bing and I would like see on the map like a big red thing and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right, pull out the phone. All right, let's call
Whoever. Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Like
that
Gino
name.
Tex.
Right.
I think Feeney was a cop for a while.
Officer Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
just-
Officer
Mika.
Gray, yeah. I would call him up and be like, hey, go up there right now because I got to deal with something else.
I'm just remembering now a
was cool,
specific
though.
situation.
So fun.
I would
Also so
do
negative.
I know.
I would do the NPC mugging every now and then.
Yeah.
And I specifically just remembered now an incident where there was NPC mugging kind of like I did it near the mechanic workshop
Yeah.
and he had called me and asked, he's like, hey, I'm getting a report of like a mugging around the shop. Do you know what's going on in there? And I was like, I haven't heard anything. I've just been sitting here waiting.
Were you on the phone?
While you're
No, like,
mugging.
I believe at the time you had called me, I had just gotten back to the shop because like I did the mugging, got in my car, and fucking dipped out of there because I did it like not like literally on the street next to the
Yeah.
shop, but like I got in
Off
my
the
car,
road.
drove down the street a bit, mugged a person, got in my car, and drove back to it.
I think for me, gameplay was also pretty exhausting for the sole reason. Like I wouldn't say that's
Trying
the
to figure out how you get away with it.
Well, here's the problem. So like I felt like my role in this was sort of to run sort of like a little mini crime syndicate,
Yeah. Right.
trying to organize crime. Like
you kind of needed to.
I was trying to rally players to commit crimes with me and get there to be something.
You were very successful with it.
The problem with it though is because everyone knew that I was always going to be the ringleader. Is that no matter what I did, there was so very few times where I actually got away with a crime. And the problem behind it was like I got to the point where like I knew that I was going to be the one to target. So what I would start doing is giving, like if I had gotten
Giving
guns,
other people tasks.
yeah, I would get, if I got guns or black money or anything that was like deemed illegal on the server or contraband,
Give it to other
I was
people.
just like handing it off to other people and be like, okay,
Not
you're
a bad
gonna
idea.
you're gonna take this, you're gonna go wash it, you're gonna pay me like X amount of dollars,
Yeah.
but don't pay me until after the hearing.
Yeah.
And then whatever they would end up paying me.
Which, to be fair, you would go in the hole for those charges because they would.
Yeah, I
sit
was
until-
negative the majority of the
Yeah.
time I was playing. Anytime I had money was normally black money that needed to get washed.
I-
That was my only positive. I didn't even have enough. There was so few times while playing that I had money to even purchase.
Yeah, but you had a lot of money at one time, though.
There was one
You
time-
had one time where you literally had like probably it was like 120K on you. Or
I
something
forget.
like
I think it
that?
was X Gamer or somebody. I don't remember who it was, but somebody who I was playing with, him and I were doing a really good job of getting away with it for a while because we were getting our system down. But it wasn't long until you guys caught up with like how we were doing it and everything. And because of that, I ended up getting caught. So that way it wouldn't work anymore. And I got to the point where like all that money that we had made, I pretty much handed off and was like, you need to go like wash this, buy something like a car and store it in your inventory because like
to keep the money somewhere
yeah,
else.
that's the only way you're gonna be able to keep the money,
Yeah.
or put it in your trunk or do something to get this money out of our inventories because we're both about to lose it all. And it got to the point where like making money was so fucking hard because I would get caught every single time, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that was something that just got sort of repetitive, and I was trying to always figure out a new way to switch it up to like make content, but at the same time, like
I remember Max's goal was constantly just like, I almost had enough money to go get the helicopter. I almost had enough money to go get it.
dude, because the helicopter was a
Literally,
key part. It was
If you
when
guys,
I finally got the helicopter. 'cause
stole a helicopter at one point.
No, I bought it. That was a helicopter that I had finally.
Wait, that helicopter that you guys had
it was
bought?
purchased. It was a purchased helicopter that I owned.
Because that helicopter,
It's in my hangar right now.
that helicopter, I remember. I vividly remember that helicopter specifically because that's when Dusty poofed into fucking thin air. Was when that helicopter was up at. I know exactly which fucking gas station. And I remember everything, but I remember that helicopter. I didn't know you bought it. But there was no if you were doing crime, that was the other thing. There was nothing I could have done to stop any if
Correct.
any
There was no way
crime
to
would have
stop a
happened
helicopter.
in the air. What am I gonna do? Shoot at a helicopter?
Well, I feel like at that point, so like you know how like in real life, you know when you're in like usually in urban areas, but if somebody's starting a police chase, they normally let them go and let a helicopter chase them down or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like at that point it's like a no chase. You're just like, well, he got away with that one, and they accept it and move on.
Hypothetically, though, does that mean every single thing that they do with a helicopter is no chase? Then you know.
No,
I
feel like
when does it become a chase?
right. Well, and the other thing too is like with the police department, you guys had the funding to be able to purchase police helicopters.
Well, I did have a police helicopter because
Yeah.
I remember there was a call that I went out to. It was up at the meth house.
It was me.
Yeah, it was
It was
you.
when we burnt the house
Yeah,
down.
It was
we burnt
you,
the whole house down.
I remember
You,
clicking into
Riot,
Max's stream and just seeing
and,
him on fire on the stairs.
One more person. I forgot who it was. I think it was Hydro. You, Hydro, and Riot.
Yeah, Riot. That was him. Yeah, Riot. Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, man. It was a lot of fun, but if we were to ever
We were
do it
jamming,
again,
man. We were
need to-
jamming during that period.
we just had too much on everyone's plate.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough people to delegate certain things to different people.
So here's the question. So because we tried framing this and like getting this set up in a framework where like we had one person delegated to be like the head of every job. Do you think if we ever attempted to do something like this in the future, we would have to like reach out, like get solidify? I will be here for this.
We'd have to have people committed, absolutely committed.
That's the really hard part about it is you almost have to delegate it like it's a job, like an actual job.
Right.
You
You
have
need,
to be
you
here
need
this
someone to
time
cover
and
the
this time.
shift. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like it's not functional without the without all of those constraints, it's not functional. And outside of that time frame, it's not functional. So like having the designation to set up all those different people in different places is A, very tough, B, almost unrepeatable sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just like when it happens organically, easy.
Mm-hmm.
When you're forcing it to happen, it's a little bit harder. Possible, just very complex.
But outside of the scope of something that we were able to do at the time,
Right.
like we just didn't
I
have.
mean, with what we had, I'm gonna be honest. I think it was a relative success.
I think
No, all in all, like in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, what
was
we
great.
did was successful. It did what it needed to
and
do.
people remember it too. That's the cool thing is people actually remember playing it.
Yeah.
Right.
And like
And for
they
our
remember
first,
memories
for our first
from
kind of
it.
server like that, it was fantastic. Because that was the first time we ever tried doing anything role playing wise.
Yeah.
Dude, it's such a back and forth with me though, because it was so fun, but yet so.
So irritating.
I think I remember later on, and like it was like week 2, and we got later on, and we were sitting
when
there
it got
going,
later.
and we were sitting there like before we were going live and talking to each other and going,
God, I don't want
All
to
right.
do this, but
Here
I
we
guess.
go.
Because
Like-
issues were surfacing. We were trying to do. I mean, and don't even get us started, dude. Do you remember the first day we went live? Do you remember?
yeah, the whole thing didn't work. Nothing worked.
Oh my
People couldn't make
fucking
characters.
God.
It was that was that so anything that we done, the Rust server, this server, the Minecraft server,
Every single time, it's
That was-
always.
technical difficulties is the most exhausting thing to have to try to worry
Because you think
about.
you finished it.
Yeah, that and then
You're
something
so ready.
you think you thought of every possible
Yeah.
issue that could have arisen, and then somehow something comes up that you're like, how?
It's literally the equivalent of releasing a game after you've been working on it, like releasing like an actual game, and then the first like people that buy it are just like, how did they release this? It's so broken. Why this wasn't ready to come out? And you're just
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? And it's like, oh, this doesn't work. oh shit, I didn't think about that. Like,
yeah.
Well, and that's what's so hard about the 5M servers, because people don't understand that when you start a 5M server, you get nothing but a map. That's it. Like anything.
Darian, I don't think he is.
Alrighty, so guys, thank you so much for. Okay, sorry.
Darian just asked in chat if somebody would hear or if I was free to play Age of Mythology.
Sorry, you were on a really good path. I forgot what you were just talking about.
Setting up the 5M
setting
server.
up the actual
how it's
server
base,
itself
how it's a
and
very
how it-
base game.
When you
first set it up, it is quite literally the GTA map and
That's
nothing else.
That's it. Like literally, that's it. You spawn
There's no
on a crane.
NPCs.
Yeah.
You spawn on the top of a random crane in a construction site.
It does-
no mini map.
There's no
no
NPCs.
vehicles.
There's no
no
cars.
pedestrians. No
No
blimps,
UI.
No helicopters. No nothing.
no insides of buildings, no casino
Nothing.
MLOs. You can't.
The casino isn't even there.
No, the casino isn't even there. That's right.
The casino literally just doesn't exist because it's a base version of the
You
map.
spawn in it. You spawn in as one of two possible like default characters.
So
Yep.
I think
that's right.
you don't get a phone. There's no phone
No,
system.
there's no
Nope.
phone system. Nope.
And then-
There's no mini map.
no voice chat. No proximity chat. No.
There's literally when we say
There's
there's
no
nothing,
AI.
there is nothing. There's no weapon scroller.
There's no
nothing.
weapons. There's no
There's
guns.
absolutely no UI whatsoever. You can't like hitting the pause menu doesn't even really do anything.
no, it just brings up
yeah.
leave or start.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's.
Yep.
And I think that's what's so crazy is because like a lot of people don't understand that like what we put together was we built a game. I mean that's really what it came
That's what took us so long to make it in the first place.
if you
It
were to
was
sit
talked
there-
about for what 6 months before we actually started making it because we realized just how much work had to go into it.
Well-
we were like, we don't know what the fuck to do here.
Well, it was crazy because Austin gave it a shot and quit almost immediately after figuring out how like intense it was,
And
and
then
you,
after
you-
Austin picked it up, I tried, and I couldn't even figure out how to get because I was trying to figure out the database and everything like that.
I think my favorite quote was, "Yeah, if you guys want a 5M server, you get it up and running, and I'll help." I didn't want to touch it because I knew from the start how much of a pain in the ass it was going to be.
I couldn't figure out. I could
6
not
months
figure
later-
out how to get it set up on the RE site, on the REFX. or
Dude, that's
whatever.
the other thing is the APIs. You have to
Yeah.
link all the fucking GTA APIs. Otherwise you can't even join the server.
And there's no video. You can't just go online and be like, how to set up 5M server. Don't get me wrong. There's things that'll kind of get you in the direction, but there's no do this.
There's
do
no-
that,
there's
do
no
this,
how to set up
download
5M
this,
server
move this
for
into
dummies.
a folder.
Yeah.
Make sure you use this folder and make sure you log into this account and like blah blah blah. Like that doesn't exist.
And the plugin system for scripting because
Oh
every
my God, don't even get us fucking started on that shit, dude.
so anything
Plug and play. It's like you're pulling. You know what it felt like? You know what the mods in 5M felt like?
you mean the content?
The content, yes. Anything that you put in manually, it felt like an old people when you call the the operator and they take a cable and they plug it into another switch. That's what it felt like. You had to be like, okay, so like I think if I plug it in here and like move this here, it was. Oh man.
The craziest thing was like, for example, we had a very basic economy system set up, and like for example, like let's say you had money sitting on your person. Do you want to like have that like go into a bank so if you die you don't lose it? So now you have to go write a script that will literally know how to handle and store player information, and it gets stored in it, and then store. Yeah. So now,
You need
the
the
physical
script-
location.
You need the script for money. You need the script for where the money goes, if it's on your person or where it goes.
and then you need to
You
write
need
a
script for
database
it to transfer.
to hold that information. It needs to hold it. Which I'm gonna be honest.
Every user on our GTA server, and by the way, there was about 100 people that came through and played on it. Each one of those individual players
A
had
single-
3 accounts associated with
Yep.
that. So there's 3 different versions of money, and then
there is the regular money, the bank money, and then the black money.
The black money, yeah.
Yep, dirty
Dude,
money.
Oh,
And every single thing, like, dude, getting the casino to work alone.
I remember when you came
Oh
up with that
my God,
MLO.
yeah.
When you were, I remember we found it because we were like, oh my God, we can bring the casino in. That means we can gamble and all this stuff, like, which was functional. But I remember, I will never forget the day you figured out because you were going through the file and you found specifically when they spun the wheel. You would have like the background, like all the graphics that are on
Dude,
the walls.
I don't know why that was so satisfying
confetti
for me.
and all that stuff.
So
I mean, it was such a simple thing. It was a simple line of code that was sitting there, dormant, waiting to be
background,
used.
background. So for anybody that's listening or like audio now, audio later, if you are playing GTA, like the actual game, like actual GTA.
Yep.
When you go into the casino, if you're playing blackjack, slots, doing whatever it is, the wheel, it doesn't matter what it is. If you win at all, if you ever have a hand that wins,
the background displays,
all the screens in the casino
Flare
change
up and-
to reflect the fact that you just won. And I wanted to have that level of like immersiveness on the casino, and I spent probably a week alone just trying to program the fucking walls. Not the walls weren't even moving to begin with. There was the screens were there, but there's nothing on
the
the
screen
screen.
was blank.
So first of all, I had to make a script that would like make the screens do something. It was the diamonds falling on the walls or whatever, and then I had to set it up and I had to literally write code that would detect when any player won any sort of the slot games, and then set a trigger that would be listening for if somebody won a game, and then write a separate script to run if somebody won a game, to change the screens and then have them up there for a second and then turn them off.
Well, and on top of that, you also had to, each individual game that was in the casino, every single one, obviously unless they were the same game, but you still had to place the seats.
Right.
You would have to place a location. You would have to make sure you have the right, because I mean, if that script doesn't work,
because by default you can't just walk up to a seat and sit in it. You have to write a script
to sit in it, to start the
in
game, to host a lobby, to be able to pull money from your account, and like, oh god, dude, the amount of the level of detail that goes into it, and like, it would be so much easier if it was something that you could just like Unity, like plug and play, fucking dink dink dink, you know, just doing normal programming, but you're working through a convoluted, broken
some bullshit system.
Lua. I bet the word Lua probably just triggers you a lot.
A lot of what was in our server was some of it was like community driven, like Lua scripts and stuff that people had already worked on, and I had to take those scripts and rewrite them to work on it.
No, it's a bit laggy.
As long as
I'm gonna try and listen to the audio. Keep going.
Test 1 2 3. I am checking to see how our audio sounds right now. Are we skipping? Does it sound like we're skipping when I'm talking?
It sounds like there's that slight stutter there.
I'm not worried about a slight stutter.
It's not too worried. There's nothing to worry about on the stream end because it doesn't come through on the recording.
Yeah,
right.
We're good. So
we're Gucci.
But yeah, no, it was intense. And like, do you want to talk about the PC job?
Can I?
Yeah,
that was honestly my favorite. I'm gonna be honest. That was like, because that was like that. It felt like my project kind of thing. Same with the shops, but mostly.
I just want to jump back to the casino for just a second.
Okay.
One of my favorite things was when it was first getting started, to like getting set up and everything. As someone who plays on normal GTA 5 servers every now and then, and would go to the casino to like always spin the wheel and play like a round of blackjack or something, to enter that casino and see it fucking empty, no sound,
no vehicle,
nothing.
Either. Yeah, there's no music. You couldn't go up to the bar.
Yeah,
it was like, where the fuck am I? I know I recognize this, but I don't at the same time.
The casino is one of the most.
The
casino is one of the most populated areas in GTA. There's so
many
NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's a whole loading area. Yeah. I mean, it takes a second to load into the lobby on that.
Right. Which I will say, I like that you were able to set it up like the single player one, where it's not a loading area. You just walk in.
Yep.
Granted, you had to go down some stairs that don't actually exist in the real game, but it was cool. I like that idea.
Well, we changed it. Originally, I had it set up.
It changed.
Originally, we had it set up to where you could literally walk down the stairs and you just enter the casino.
But it was a little buggy looking.
But I eventually changed it to where the doors were locked and you had to use the teleporter to get in. Because what the teleporter would do is actually the teleporter was the trigger that would tell the walls to turn on for the client, because the walls were all client side.
Mm-hmm.
So you would walk down, the doors would be locked. You have to walk through the teleporter, which would literally move you 3 squares over, and that was a whole separate script just to write that teleporter script that would move you literally just a few coordinates over into the casino. And when you did that, that's when the walls turned on, and then when you left, it would turn them off. And that was sort of like,
well, that's the way that we figured out for how, like, I believe there were MLOs, right? Where the
MLO is a portion of a map. It is sort of like a map filler. It's an add-on that basically says, here's a bunch of assets for a chunk of the map, and then it has scripting in it that tells the game where to put that map portion, because you could change it. Like, if I wanted to, I could take the whole casino and put it up in the fucking air.
Yeah.
And like
Well,
the teleporter
you
would just
can have an MLO anywhere. It just you still need to attach all the physical objects to it and everything like that and all that.
I feel like
assets that come
normally
with
you'd
it.
probably have it below the map.
That's
So that
usually
would
the
just
case when it's
teleport you
hidden.
down there.
our first courthouse was below the map.
Do
Really?
you remember the
Yep.
bowling alley that we tried putting in?
It's still in there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
broken one where you could walk right through the wall and
Yep.
fall.
Yep.
It's if anyone's curious, it's the bowling alley specifically from GTA 4.
Yeah, we pulled a bowling alley in from a different game.
Nico, cousin.
Yeah, we're able to pull a different
Speaking
bowling.
of going through walls and falling through the map, I remember that specifically being one of the biggest issues we dealt with when it first launched.
Yep. There was so many. It was well, what we originally thought it was people who had hard drives that couldn't load.
it was.
fast
It
enough.
was. So it was a
And that
combination. It was a combination
that,
issue.
And it was also I believe it was
Was it server side?
it was something with their settings. It was a graphic setting. It
Yeah,
was-
so if you used like DirectX 11
Yeah.
instead of a different thing, what it would, because you could choose between 10 or 11. If you use DirectX 11,
it had 10 in there.
yeah, if
Wow.
you were using DirectX 11, it would load the map in a different way, which would require like it would grab resources for the map off your hard drive a different way. And if you were on it, if you had your game installed to a physical spinning disk, it wouldn't trigger that there is collision in front of you. And if you were and if you were driving really fast on a car, it wouldn't load the map fast enough, and you would just fall through the world and you would die and lose everything you had on you.
Well,
and that was,
no, you wouldn't die. Well, no, because it would teleport you.
Oh, that's
Remember,
right, yeah,
it would teleport you.
but then
the
you
thing
in a
is,
loop. Then you would
be
loop.
stuck in a loop because it was like, okay, let's teleport you back to the street and then fall. And
Yeah,
then
it would
And the
fall.
problem was because it was so far, you were falling so far before you would teleport back.
It would
it would never
deload.
load it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
It
would
would
unload it.
deload it and
So
then reload it.
Yep. So you're stuck in this loop where you were unloading and reloading and
I
unloading.
remember specifically that's why Tekkit couldn't play on the
Yep.
server
Yeah, because
he had that issue the whole time.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
remember
I it's funny too because like consistently through our entire playthrough with it, every time I was with Tekkit, we would fall through the map. It never failed.
And it was always if they were the driver too. Whoever the driver of the vehicle would fall through.
Yep. And it was specifically only when we were in a car.
Yeah, right.
Yep. And I would always go, Tekkit, are you sure we're not gonna fall through the map? Go slow. We're gonna fall through the map, and then we'd fall through the fucking map. I think one of the coolest MLOs that we had in too were the custom street signs. I don't know if you remember those digital signs that you'd see on the
that's
freeways.
Right. Yeah, that's completely right. And well, the thing that we found out is we had it worked, but it was supposed to come with like a little like digital computer that was next to it that you could.
Police officers were supposed to be able to
Yeah,
edit it,
but it didn't work. I think it was the interaction with. The
we made it
actual-
a static image. It just said "Welcome to CCRP,"
which was really cool. Remember when we tried getting the movie theater down at the pier? Remember the movie theater
It was in there. It
screen?
worked. It worked.
Yeah, it was. I forgot how it worked because it did work. I remember you did get it
I
working.
think
at one
yeah.
point, 'cause
There's some.
you threw up caffeine street machine, but
That's my demo video for everything.
man, I miss.
It was
but
so
am
much fun,
So
man.
glad I can look back it as a memory now, but man, I kind of miss it. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was so much dedication though.
What,
so much time.
What I think was so from a streamer standpoint, what I think was so fun about it was it gave us a purpose to stream, and it gave us something to do that was a focused like I'm gonna get
and
on today.
a group focus.
Yeah,
too.
and it was interactive, and people like watching. People like viewers were able to join us if they wanted to. It was a very
Anyone could
interactive.
join.
Yeah, anyone could join.
Anyone could join. It would take a
Right.
little bit to download, but
Yeah, but it was really cool because it was interactable and it gave.
and the
I'll,
intro screen.
I was
too?
just about
Oh.
to say I'll give Max a boost on that because he put together a very good intro
It
screen.
was so moody,
That-
dude. It set the mood for what
It
the
was
server
so
was.
good.
The song got a bit annoying, which I'm glad
I mean,
the
it
mute
got a
button
little
eventually
annoying, but I'm
worked.
gonna be honest. I haven't heard that song ever since like middle school. So hearing it was like,
I know, because it gets you fucking riled up. I was when I was making the trailer, I was sitting there and it was funny because it was we were
like B-roll.
well we were talking about there was that, remember that Brass Holes video I showed you where it was us in band back in the day?
Yeah.
So it was back during that era, and the song that was playing on that reminded me of the song that eventually would have been used for our trailer, and I was like, that is a great song.
Is that Kanye, by the way, or is it
No Church in the Wild, Kanye.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. And it was a, if you watch the music video for No Church in the Wild, it's a
Really
like
cool,
a
by the way.
it's a rebellion, like like it's all these people rioting and everything, and it sets this mood for like, you know, like it's
Well,
the lyric.
It's the state between the different like social standards. I mean, like what's a pet? Where does it even start? What's the story?
Well, it's the main hook lyric, which is what's a man to a god?
Yeah,
what's a god
to a king?
What's a god to a king? Or no, it's what's a man to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? And that sets the right. That's the.
There's a starter there though that we're missing.
I don't remember what it is.
I don't, probably like a bug.
Man to a mob, mob to a king, king to a god.
No,
god
it's not mob.
Yeah, absolutely. Man to a mob. Man to a mob, mob to a king, king
What's
to
a man
god.
to a mob? Yeah.
Mhm.
What's a mob to a king?
Yep.
What's a king to a god? What's a
It's
god to a non-believer who don't believe in anything?
All right, no copyright, by the way. That was all performed.
It's okay.
Dude, that
I think it
song,
was
like when you
off-
hear
I
that,
think it
it's
was
just
off
like,
key enough.
oh,
Yeah, I know.
like,
right?
oh shit, like it's like
Well,
dramatic.
Maybe I just carry like a certain notation with it back from out because I have a very specific like kind of like when you smell a scent.
Yeah.
like, you're like bam.
It reminds you of something.
Yeah, it's the
or-
same thing.
Yeah, it brings you somewhere.
Man, I mean, it'll forever bring me back to this now, though. That GTA server is iconic in my eyes, and I want to be able to bring it back. I want to be able to like work on it again and bring it back to a revived state. But like, we would have to literally be like, we did all this work. Here you go. Whoever can use it,
Yeah.
please, like, use it.
Well, and that's why when we were talking about like in the talks of resuscitation, where you know how do we want to frame. What's our framework? You know, like what's first of all the hardest thing for us to figure out, because like we do, correct me if I'm wrong, but we do want to relaunch it. It's something that we've talked about and that we were thinking.
I don't want to relaunch it until it's literally the way I want someone to brand new pop in is be able to do literally every single feature, obviously within the limitations of it.
Yeah.
But seamlessly, because as soon as you have one hiccup, it taints the whole experience.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean,
and especially in an RP situation too, because imagine you're sitting there,
it breaks
RPing,
RP. It breaks
and
RP.
all of a sudden you're like, oh, sorry, your trunk won't open. Like,
I mean, we did talk about it a little bit
and the price,
in the concept of
money,
like maybe going back on the RP concept of it,
Well,
like
that's what I
not
was saying.
not so RP based.
We were talking about
It would be
relaunching, but with a
cool to
different
do the
premise,
RP, but to relaunch it with some type of repurpose,
a different scope, and that's where our conversation is getting tricky, because we've been sitting here kind of like him and Han over
What
like,
can we do, man?
what's our
Like,
premise, like
what is it gonna be?
It needs to have a theme. It needs to have something because that's I genuinely think the reason why our server was so successful is because we had a set theme. It was cops versus robbers, and it was
And there was a lot of work. I mean, there was stuff that you could do, and the only time it ever felt like you couldn't do stuff was when there wasn't people on.
Yeah.
When there wasn't people to like do like chases and have court and do all these things. When that wasn't there, the whole server felt so empty, and it's really hard to not have it feel that way, because you can't fill that void of players without
players
having players. Yeah.
and that's why I think like our restructure, we need to look at focusing directly on having many more like NPC driven events,
Maybe even opening it up to the public.
Well, yeah, that too. Honestly,
we would have to just think about ways to be able to control it in some way, or make sure there's no.
Well, we ran everything through our Discord
Well,
server, and I think that's probably the same motif we would go with.
yeah.
Even if we open it to the public,
Like Lesterbot,
there's
dude.
a-
Lesterbot helped us so much.
Oh my god, yeah, Lesterbot was so good.
even if we open it to the public, there's a good chance that like somebody out there will be able to either take care of them, like power wise, like higher up power, like me, you, Max, Kenzie, whatever, or somebody on our server would like report them immediately.
Well,
because we had plenty of people like,
Oh, dude, there was plenty, and
The
I'm not gonna lie.
whistleblowers?
oh yeah,
There was a lot of people that like, it was really unfortunate because it was people that you were like, that we were close to. Obviously, I mean, almost every single person that joined the server we were close to, but the amount of times that like people weren't following RP laws, and like, I think above all, I definitely was more annoyed about it simply because I was the one that was supposed to be upholding it.
This was my biggest annoyance, to tag off of that with the server, was the fact that we needed players, and there were so many, like on a normal GTA server, if you break
Kick
RP,
people out, get them the fuck out of there.
if you break RP,
Leave.
if you break RP, you get banned. That's
right.
that's pretty much
Well,
the rule.
yeah.
And it was so hard. It
But-
was so hard because we needed the players that we had to be so lenient with
Mm-hmm.
like. the rules, and that
slap on the wrists type of scenario.
and that's where I feel like the hardest portion of the server was with like our tight knit community on it.
I mean, it
was-
all starts with the fact that we don't have enough people.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it
Right.
came down to, is we didn't have enough people.
But that's why I think it would be a really good idea. Like, let's say hypothetically, let's say we do fix it up and we do another RP. Even though it's probably
Light RP.
more unlikely. Well, regardless of what it would be. Let's say we were to open it up again. If we were to open it up to a general public, and let's say we were to make content on it, post TikToks or YouTube videos or whatever, I think we could get it to a spot that would be really enjoyable for especially like caffeine community, because that's obviously the main focus for us. But
Right.
we need to be able to bring other people in. So if there isn't caffeine people, which usually there isn't, especially given, I mean, how many days in a row do you expect someone to be on a game? I mean, that's something you have to think about. How many days in a row do you expect one person to continuously join back into the server at especially the right time to
The
be
peak
able,
time,
yeah,
the peak play
to-
time. Yep.
to have them be a contribution to the server, and then like that's like every single person, and then like you have to think about how many people are outside of the country and how many people aren't on our time zone, and it's just there's a lot to think about. And
Yeah, because it sucked, because there's a lot of people in our community that are outside the United
like
States.
Wigan
Yeah.
Inn was a really big one that was always on the server, but he wasn't on when we were on because he
And
was out of the
unfortunately,
US.
their ability to do what they wanted to do was so limited
Yep.
because there
No
wasn't
cops.
if they died they were fucked. If they
they'd have to sit there and wait 10 minutes.
if they wanted to rob something, they're fucked. If they wanted to go like make money, they're fucked. Like
all they could
anything.
all they could do is moonshine.
Yep,
That's it.
just moonshine. Like the server idle state was moonshining.
Yeah, pretty much. Unfortunately.
I remember the EMS was kind of like a RP breaking for a while, because if people died to any reason, whatever they're doing, they would just type in the global chat to call
Yeah.
for EMS.
The fact that we had the lockdown, I really was on top of that, making sure that we were locking down.
Dude, I could
global.
not for the
Yeah,
life of
because
me
we had
ever
out of
figure out-
character for chat.
for the life of me could never figure out how to get EMS alerts to work properly. I tried so hard. I tried
It would have
so
been
hard.
so amazing if they worked, because it would have fixed a lot of the EMS issues.
Mhm.
Because no one knew when they were dead unless they typed in /OOC space location.
Yep.
And like even then, there was desync issues with the bodies.
Yep, that was another problem. Or
Yeah.
like when they would get resuscitated, they would get like fucking flung in the air for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That was another thing I couldn't fucking figure out.
There was
Like
I'm
little
gonna-
nuance issues like that just break RP, and it's so hard to like come back from that. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
it's just, oh man, it's one of those situations where there's just so many things, and if we were to ever do it again, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want it to be released until it's done.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like I want it to be like, hypothetically speaking, back when we did it, I wouldn't have wanted to release the server until we already put all those hours in, even when we did it all.
I think our biggest problem is we set a release date that was ambitious, and
I mean, we tried, man. You know how much
we
work
tried.
we did.
We tried so hard. We really did, and it paid off. I mean, like I said, that's what's so crazy. We're talking so negatively about it, and I think I just think that's so fascinating, because it was one of the most successful things we've ever done, and everybody for the most part that played had such a good time on it, and like if they streamed on it, their streams did well. Like everyone had so much fun with it, but fundamentally,
It just felt like a failure.
it felt like a failure.
I think
It
it's
probably
just
didn't feel like that
because
to most people, though. By the way,
out
No,
of
I
the-
think that's
probably
us.
just felt like
I-
to us.
yeah.
out of the server stuff we've done, the only one that would ever stay up completely is the Minecraft one, which the
Yeah.
Minecraft one has died out in popularity, but
I mean, yeah,
it
but-
never quote unquote failed.
Mm-mm.
Whereas the RP one failed
still
just
up.
simply because of the lack of people.
We just one day decided, all right, we're done.
we
I
we
just,
kind we
like-
kind of like collectively decided like, okay, you know what, this isn't as fun as it was when we started. It's having some issues here and there. We're not having fun. I think we're done with it.
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing about the GTA server, I think we could have kept it up, but there was just no reason to. Why
Yeah.
keep it up if, like, you and I being, like, I mean, technically, I guess the two big sides, if you go live with it and let's say I'm not, or I go live with it and you're not, what's the point?
Yeah, that's really what it came down to.
That was the unfortunate fact. We couldn't get over that hump because it's like, if you didn't want to do it, then I literally almost had no purpose unless there was people on the server, and then sometimes it depended, but like
it needed all of us to function properly, and like we did that. We pulled it off for quite a while, and it was great and all, but it was just like
it was heavy though. It was heavy. It was a lot of work. I mean, there was so much to think about. Every single time anything happened, I mean, we had to keep in mind everything.
Well, and here's the other thing too is we could have left the fucking GTA server up and running, but our server space for when we do these massive community events is limited.
Yeah.
And GTA was the beefiest,
Absolutely.
heaviest, most resource intensive thing that I have ever endeavored to run here ever. It was bigger than the Rust server, and the Rust server was intense.
Was big.
Right.
Out of curiosity, what was the quote unquote bottleneck of the server?
It was not network, actually. Believe it or not, it was literally the fact that players' computers couldn't load the map properly.
Really? So you're saying that out of all
low-end hardware,
out of all of the things, not even server related, it was other people's computers.
Yep, because that was my biggest thing. I was on top of that all the time. I was watching it and being like, okay, is today going to be the day that we're going to hit our peak? And I'm going to be honest with you, we never saturated beyond 50% of what my network capabilities were.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Even at our peak when we had like 30, 40 people on at one point.
I will say, dude, when I believe it was the second or third day was our most popular day. I think
it was day 3 was the most popular day because that was when everybody finally had time. The weekend finally hit because we launched on like a Thursday or something like that. I think we launched on a Thursday, right?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yep. And then after that, the weekend hit, and it was like by the time Saturday, Sunday rolled around, there was like. Everyone was fine. They all had the game downloaded. The map was ready to go.
The only thing that really sucked about having, especially new players in, was, I'm sure you remember this, was me having to give you a poke, giving names, saying ranks, giving like police stuff, and like EMS was another thing, like because it was the database. That was the issue. We needed to get it transferred.
We had to manually change the database.
I had to be like, I'd be sitting in my office, RPing. Being like, okay, hold on, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna have to have you like walk out of the office, close your game after we're done with this talk, so we can get the update changed because they had to be off the server
in order
for the database to be able to change.
Yep, and that was annoying.
I think that's probably, regardless, one of the biggest limitations is because like, given the way the database is set up, I mean, if anyone were to have to go in there and make changes. You have to do it that way. You have to go through the database.
It's funny too because I feel like if we picked it up again, it would be like riding a bike, going back into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it'd be so
100%. I'm gonna be honest though. I'd have to get 5M set up again.
I would too. I haven't. I literally have not opened 5N since we closed the server.
I don't even have
Actually, no, I lied.
Anymore.
I opened it up one day because I fired up the server.
Yeah, that's right.
I fired up the server the other day and did a little nostalgia trip.
Did you look at it and check some stuff out?
I
remember him opening up. He was showing his screen and just looking at the UI of everything, that like the food, the bank, thirst, all that.
Food, everything.
And I was laughing with Mike. I was like, dude, I don't fucking remember the controls. Like, I don't know.
There ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be able to remember all the stuff for all the police vehicles and stuff like that, all the lights and the radio.
I played GTA since then, but whenever I play GTA, normally I play on a controller.
But there's no way
you can't play 5M on a controller.
You can't play the 5M on controller.
I mean, with push to talk, with everything. There's so many buttons.
Well, not only the push to talk, but there was like the different levels of talking, like the whisper, talk, yell thing.
Yep.
There was the phone itself was like, if you press the phone button on the controller, it would open 2 different things up at once.
Yep. So, out of curiosity, if hypothetically we would have had an infinite budget, do you think the server would have gone even better if we could have paid for assets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because if we had like
you saw the prices of some of the assets. I mean, there was things on there that were literally $40 for a fucking pack of skins for like 3 vehicles.
So there's actually places and people and individuals you can hire to like make the server for you. There's actually like a whole store, like a marketplace for that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would have actually probably hired a Lua developer to do it and run it on a separate host.
Imagine if we had the money to do that.
Well, so that was what was so crazy about it is the 5M server was a server that we ran. It was our largest project that we ever did without a budget.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally the definition of building it out of your garage.
Yeah, we built that with no but everything we've done after the GTA server for the majority of the stuff that we've done.
Well, and we have also been able to maintain funding for it. Though.
Yeah. There's been a budget for almost everything we've done after that.
Yep.
And I think that was one of our things that we talked about was like from here on out we need budget. We need to be able to do this properly.
I mean, imagine how amazing that server would have been if we would have gotten cloth.
Imagine how amazing that server would have been if we had a Lua developer that was able to like actually troubleshoot bugs for us.
Mm-hmm.
And like for example, a Lua developer would have been able to like figure out nuances on nuance issues like the EMS problem and
So
everything.
you probably would have been able to look at that and go,
The
"Oh,
EMS.
here's your issue
Yeah.
right there."
I mean,
Just
I
take
was
this out, fix it with that.
I literally was learning Lua. I was learning the program language just to do that.
Which is crazy. Good on you, by the way. Like
It was.
And like my biggest thing is like, and I could probably speak for Mike here too. We don't know any languages. We don't really know how to code.
I know.
So you wanna hear something crazy?
You learned Python, wasn't it?
No, I know very basic HTML and Java.
Okay.
I
don't know shit.
It was funny.
Nothing. I know if and statements. There you go.
It was funny because
I can make you a base website right now. This
As-
is Hello World.
as I was learning Lua and going through and doing this, I was actually fixing old plugins that didn't work right that we needed, like other community
those are
stuff.
the translate plugins.
Oh,
You remember?
yeah, I remember
You had to go through-
translating.
You
Yep.
had to translate them, and then you'd have to figure out. I can't even imagine what that would be like translating code to then see if it's broken afterwards.
Yeah, so that was
Ugh.
so the crazy thing about it was
Crazy.
I wrote anytime I fixed a plugin or did something or found a bug and was able to fix it and get stuff working right, I would go through and make a post explaining how I fixed it for other people.
I remember
in the
that
future.
you had a whole you were diving deep into the CFX forums.
Yeah, I was like a reputable member. By the time we finished the server, I was a reputable fucking member on the
what was
CFX.
the numbers of the amount of posts that you went through? I think it was in the ballpark of like 2,000 to 3,000.
It was thousands of posts. I
Yeah.
read like because what CFX forums does is it will show you how many posts you've actually like literally
Has
like
statistics.
How many you've looked at?
Yeah.
well not looked at. It will tell you how long you've spent on them and it will calculate if you actually read that or not. And it'll tell you how many you actually read. And by the time we were done, it was like almost 5,000 posts I read. And on top of that, I still get email notifications to this day of people responding to posts that I had made saying, thank you for fixing this or thank you for this. Like, and then they ask me questions. Hey, how did you get this working? And I look at it now and I'm like, I couldn't even fucking tell
I was
you.
gonna say, like, even then, you like probably in the moment, within a week's time, you probably would have been like, oh yeah, I just did this. But thinking back now, imagine the amount of nuanced things that you learned and had to fix on the spot that you're not gonna retain that.
No.
I mean, I'll fully admit, like, speaking of like learning code, I used to know Java to the point where I literally made Pong in Java. But now, fucking dude, I don't even know
It's
what
the
the fuck I was
retention
doing.
value. It's the retention value.
Use it or lose it.
Yep. And that exactly that. Use it or lose it. 100%. It's like when like I always use the riding a bike. You set it down for a couple of years, you get back on it, it's a little wobbly, and then 2 minutes later you're good.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of that way. It depends. It depends on how knowledgeable you were into it.
I think it's funny because I'll do stuff like, for example, our cool CC transition logo that I did. I legitimately could not repeat that.
Well, I mean, you also followed along like a whole document about following how to make it.
Well,
and you made your own like
version of
yeah,
what I saw.
You did stuff with it, obviously, on your own accord, but for the most part, you had a little bit of like an instruction to follow.
Well, not only that, but like our CC trailer, like the thing I did in After Effects with like those lighting beams and everything.
Which are fucking cool, by the way. I don't even know how to do it. I'm assuming it's a plugin. It's like a lightsaber plugin kind of thing.
Yeah, it's literally called. I think it's literally called Lightsaber, and it's an asset. But being able to like what the hardest thing was like all the text that we had, where it was like filling in the text and everything. That's something
you had to manually do that, wouldn't you?
that was manually animated. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
And then the flickering on and off and everything. I actually wrote a script.
I remember you told me that you wrote a script, which I still don't get that. Well, it was CSS, right?
It uses Adobe has like its own weird like programming language for its Adobe
Flash or
no, it's
you're talking about the program that they have built for it.
It's like Elements. It's like Adobe.
Yeah.
It's like Adobe Quick Elements or something. It's called inside of. inside of
Illustrator?
After Effects that they use to do that, and I had to make an on-off script that would automatically flash it to match the beat.
Sure.
Of the
Is that a thing? So like you wrote a script to see the peaks of an audio line, and it would sync the flashing to the peaks of
Max over here literally making audio link.
yeah.
I was gonna say that's what it exactly sounds like. It sounds like you built a script for audio link.
Yeah, it's
which, to be fair though, it probably. Get me if I'm wrong, but like the script that you had to write was
my script was
literally
on or off
only for that audio.
If audio peaked at like 10 decibels,
say
it would turn
based,
on.
It was based
if
on decibels.
Dips below, turn off,
Yep.
and that's where you got the flashing from. Because
I was
it
gonna
only
say, imagine if that. I mean, it would work with regular songs. It would be a little weird though. You'd probably have to mess with the gain technically on the.
you would
song
have to take
get
the treble peaks of every song and crank the treble in order for it to peak as loud as I did, or I could take the code and drop the decibel limit down.
But I mean, hypothetically, I'm just trying to apply it to like a sound link scenario. I mean, you'd have to change it per song then.
And that right there is the reason why everything I create, anything that I make, I keep. All of our servers that we've ever used as a community event in the past, I have them all. Every single one of them. Every Minecraft server, every Chaos server, every TikTok and asset that I've used in a TikTok video, every YouTube video, every intro, outro, anything I've ever recorded, I have kept literally all of it for that reason, so I can go back and relearn what I did if I need to, or have the assets available to use.
Mm-hmm.
I have everything. I have terabytes of fucking shit that I've made. That's why I need a NAS and my news. That box right there, that USPS box, that needs to become a fucking computer ASAP.
Why is that still sitting there?
Because computer components are expensive.
Not that it's just still sitting there, but what are you waiting on?
Case, other parts.
So like bare minimum things I would need to get the new server up and running are I would need an M.2. Absolute bare minimum. 2 hard drives, M.2, 1 SSD, a case.
You should have been on M.2 on Black Friday, my man.
I went back and I looked at the price of those M.2s and
you probably are kicking yourself.
cried.
I was kicking myself in the ass when I saw it because what I wanted to buy was $50 and it is currently sitting at $77.
Oh, I mean, that's not too bad.
No,
though.
that's not bad.
Yeah, but that $20 could go towards my Noctua cooler. That's $100.
I guess. I mean, you're not wrong. Saving money in general is always for alliance.
Well, I don't care about saving it. I could just build the server on a more economical budget. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I'm a baller on a budget, bitch.
yeah, right. So, but what I was just talking to Alex about it last night. I think the server I'm gonna start diving back because I got this now. That's what I was all saving my pennies for.
I heard you last night. You're like, well, I bought my index or I finished my VR, so I guess I can spend money elsewhere.
Yeah, because like that's
Which,
what it was.
By the way, you need to get a haptic suit.
I want to,
dude. You
Hey,
need to get a haptic suit. Because I can come over and try.
Yeah,
I want to feel like Parzival.
If there's one thing that I really wish was further along in tech, you know the catwalks, those catwalks.
You're gonna looking to get one?
Well, I've looked into getting one. They're not as expensive as you
Which
thought.
one are you looking to get? Are you trying to get the
C.
Omni treadmill?
No. It has you wear special shoes that have sliders on them.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's the catwalk seat.
Captures you on the waist.
Yeah, it's got the stand in the back that holds you down and everything. So that system, Thrill Seeker.
Yep.
He went and did like a torture test on one, and he ran from one end of the Skyrim map in Skyrim VR to the other end of Skyrim, and he did it all in one day on a catwalk in
horrible.
VR. Yeah, he said it was the worst experience, and he'll never do anything like it again.
Like the catwalk, like that experience probably is like amazing.
Well, what he said, his takeaway with it, he said it was a cool experience, but it was the most pain that he's ever experienced in his life.
Because
you
have to force yourself to slide. You're wasting energy.
You hit the nail on the head.
Energy to have to not push your body forward, but slide your legs back individually. Each individual leg.
He said it took him about 15 minutes of like solid walking to be able to actually teach himself how to properly like walk in the catwalk.
Because you have to trust your body has to naturally trust itself to slide.
Yep. He said that he showed it and everything. By the time he was done, because it comes with special shoes and everything that you have to order.
Probably like the same kind of stuff that you would put like on
it's a whole
furniture.
shoe. It's a whole shoe.
It's a whole shoe.
It's a whole shoe that they sell.
You like choose your shoe size.
Yeah, you have to make your shoe size and everything. So he said by the time he was
spending more money.
By the time he was done, he said that he would have to order a new pair of shoes in order to continue playing. He wore down through the pads in that one day.
I mean, how long does it take to walk? I never played Skyrim, so I don't really know.
It took him a couple hours.
Skyrim map is huge.
I mean, like hypothetically, how long do you think it would take you to walk the map with a controller? Because that's peak movement speed. That's like optimal movement, right?
Yeah.
Would you ballpark it at like an hour?
I think it took him like 12 hours.
It took him 12 hours?
I think it took him like 12 hours to do it. To actually walk it.
I don't even walk that far in one day.
Well, it's like miles, dude. It's
Yeah,
like miles and miles. There's a calculation somebody did. What's the name of the continent? There's a name for it.
Don't ask me.
I know one of the cities is Whiterun, and there's like
I feel like I'm talking about D&D now. I don't even know. Don't even ask me. All I know is Khajiit. That's it. Fushruda.
Okay, Google, how many miles is the map in Skyrim?
Well, ask it how long it take to walk it. What? What?
That is definitely
The
not.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey map. Hey Google, how long does it take to walk across the Skyrim map?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that.
Really?
I found something else. Do you want to know how long is Skyrim's map?
Yes.
Okay. The Skyrim map and IRL measurements based on they use like the vectors and everything
Yeah,
to like
comparing it to real life distance.
It has a area of 14.3 square miles of area.
But I found something related.
So 1 square mile would be a square. You take you take 1 mile, 1 mile, 1 mile, 1 mile, and you make a square, make every dimension in that square 1 mile. Okay, Google, shut up.
Stop.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, she's off. Okay.
She was responding to everything we were talking about there.
So 14 square miles is the size of the Skyrim map.
So 14 miles squared. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look up a comparison of the Skyrim map versus the GTA 5 map.
Oh.
So you know how how big the
I thought Skyrim. This looks. Oh wait, that's Skyrim at the top. Okay. What is this? Is this the?
Can I see the comparison before you change it real quick?
I think this is the map of Oblivion. I think this is the whole world of Oblivion right here.
Well, I mean, Skyrim is just part of Oblivion. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is the continent, or sorry, the world, and then this would.
That
be
could
the
be
continent.
too. Those sectors that are colored might be from different games and everything.
Well, I feel pretty positive about that because I not too long ago I actually looked up the size, or like was looking at the map, and I think it's called the Ashes of Creation. That's crazy though. So I mean, it's I mean, how long do you think it would take you to walk across? Because it takes. I remember because the amount of times that I played GTA, it takes about 4 minutes to drive max speed, never letting off the throttle from tip to tip.
Well, okay. So if you remember this, 14 square
Only
miles.
4
That's
minutes.
Yeah, it's not long. 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't take that long to drive. Obviously, drive.
so
I feel like it takes me longer to get up there.
14.
It feels like it takes longer. Obviously,
14 square miles would be the size of Skyrim if it were flat.
You're saying if you were to reduce the angle of all the mountains.
Yeah, because
Yes.
remember, if you have to
it's
go
a
up,
very,
if
it's
you
a
have to
very
go,
mountainous.
if you have
map.
to go up around a mountain, that's even more
Well,
distance
yeah,
you have to go.
Yeah, it's more
So
surface area.
I wish I could pull up the video and listen to it really quick. I'm not going to now, but it was.
I feel like I've watched a video similar to it, but it might have been just map comparison in general. I'm just like, my thing is I don't really have a big idea, and like even when I think of GTA, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I have no fucking clue to like say how long it would take to walk across the GTA map. And that's if you were to walk along the highway, right? You're not going to climb over Mount Chiliad, swim through fucking the lake that's at the bottom.
But on Skyrim, you almost don't have an option sometimes.
Well, yeah, I was going to say in Skyrim, I mean, that's where the Skyrim climbing, came into place, where you literally just jump up mountains.
I'm looking it up here, so you guys can keep going.
I say I'm currently looking up to see if there's like a size comparison between the maps and like actually just showing a bit more of a size thing. But
well, going back to your catwalk, I literally don't think it would be worth it because
I
those
would
things are
want
like $1,500.
I want
Omnidirectional treadmill.
Omnidirectional treadmill to be more commercial friendly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. I wouldn't even consider it really industrially available yet.
Right. I mean, like the thing is available. You can
Oh
get
yeah,
them.
I mean, there's a company that's making it.
But I want them to be as easy to get as that, and like as affordable as that.
It'd be really cool. I mean, and the thing is too is you have to think about all the engineering that goes into it.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
obviously, like, it quite literally is something that has to detect where your body's moving to be able to move the treadmill directly in that position. And if at any moment there's any disconnection between how you are feeling and how the treadmill's feeling, it's immediately going to be off. I mean, it's like imagine trying to ride a bicycle, but it balanced itself. Imagine if it just stopped balancing itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like it's one of those scenarios. Which I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's very well possible. Did you guys see about the Spider-Man animatronic that Disney made?
Yes.
Crazy.
That is absolutely crazy.
What the fuck?
I've seen videos of it in action. Like they have the actor like walk around and like wave at everyone
Yep.
down there, and then like he hops off the edge,
Yep.
goes behind where they can see him, and then that fucking animatronic will literally just swing.
It's funny because you can hear
22 miles
22 miles is the equivalent.
is the path that he took. It using like pathing and everything in
So
Scam.
22 miles would be
Walking 22 miles.
That's further than me walking back home from here. You live like 14 miles away.
13 miles is what he said.
13 physical miles.
IRL miles is how.
So that is like if I were to walk. Yeah, it's like if I were to walk home from here on the highway.
So he put 13 miles on those shoes and they were done.
I mean, from what I just saw, there was 2 strips and then 1 ball on the heel.
No, it's not a ball. That's the bolt thing that like it's like what attaches it to it, and then like when you get down to it, that's like your wear pad. At that point, that's like okay, time to
Oh,
replace.
So it's like a
It's like a meter
tracker kind of thing,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
um
And so after 13 miles, he had to go
damn,
and
13 miles.
Yep.
I feel like that's not that much.
It's not that much,
Like,
but he wore down
less than a week's time of
because
VR.
it's basically like the softest plastic that could ever possibly exist. You know what I mean? It's designed to literally wear and peel off so that you get like this really smooth.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a horrible buildup that's just gonna ruin.
Oh, you should see the platform when he was done.
I
There was fucking plastic and shit
which is
all over
understandable. That's gonna happen. Plastic on plastic. Heat, plastic.
Right.
melts.
it. The board was fine. The catwalk was fine, but there was just shit all over it from after his.
But wouldn't you? I mean, I guess it depends on how like actual tough the plastic is. I feel like it could be like, why not metal rollers, right? Like I feel like a metal,
Well, there's a company out there right now that's currently actually developing a legit, actual omnidirectional treadmill.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were literally just talking about that. Like I remember, I forgot whose YouTube channel it was, but I remember watching.
Smarter Every Day. Smarter Every Day went and actually walked.
That like massive one where when he went into the when
Yes,
he went into the office.
Smarter
space, and
Every
there was
Day.
a small team helping him.
Yep.
Like get his weight and all of his height.
Get him calibrated for it
Okay,
and everything.
all right, yeah,
Smarter Every Day.
okay.
Yep.
I actually didn't. I didn't think it was gonna be Destin, but I thought it was someone else.
Yep.
Is it worth it though? You know what I mean?
No.
There's no way.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's not there yet.
Like literally, I would say VR almost in its current state, unless you are someone who likes being experimental, almost also isn't worth it yet.
The catwalk is a brute force attempt to try to get a affordable, full immersive VR system in place.
Imagine you got that. You got a wireless headset. You got a haptic suit. I mean, you have all of it.
The problem with haptics
gloves,
suits, though,
gloves.
yeah,
too.
gloves would be huge. But the problem with haptics right now is it's just
Oh,
vest,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally. I mean, it's like 40 different sensors. But
So there's one that a company developed and you can buy it right now. It's on sale. It's only like $500. And it's called like a whooper. I think it's called a whoosher. I think it's a whoosher is what it's called. And it has a big speaker driver that sits on the front.
Yeah. It's a bass chest piece.
Yeah, and it's designed. It's
It
more.
reverberates your body.
I've talked to people that actually have it in VR.
I feel like it's more for like music. Though.
They say
It's a sash,
everyone said no. I think it. I don't know. I have never seen it. I haven't looked it up.
I specifically have seen one that's for music. That's like a sash, but maybe it's something different that you're.
He
thinking of.
said that it's not worth it if you're just doing like things like Half-Life Alyx and like shooter games and things like that. He said it's cool in shooter games because you can feel the gun shooting and that's
that would
neat.
be. Imagine if you're sitting there shooting a gun, you're
Yeah,
because you can feel that in your chest when you're at a gun range.
Absolutely.
Shooting a gun, so.
He said that was cool, but that's about it as far as its versatility and like applications. He said the one other thing that he said is he's like, I go to Club Worlds in VR chat every day. That's like what I do. I am a VR chat clubber, and I love it for music because it makes me feel like I'm standing at the front of the fucking concert
Feeling
with
the bass.
the fucking bass hitting me. And he says that is the most immersive experience he gets out of that.
That probably, I mean, do you know if it creates audio or is it a locked frequency?
No, it's something that's not audible. It's a driver
So
that
it's
doesn't
more
create
of
sound.
a-
It just moves air.
Okay.
Yep. It doesn't like.
I wasn't too sure if it created sound itself
Nope.
to reverberate or if it was more of like a locked frequency.
It's just a really big driver that just fucking forces
compresses
air, into
air
it.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Damn. I don't know if you caught Mike and I talking.
I didn't
about
catch it because I was.
no, you're
focusing on
okay.
trying to.
We were talking about the Disney's Spider-Man animatronic. Any idea about it?
I haven't heard a thing about it. No.
It is quite literally. All right. Imagine you go to Universal Studios, right, and you see an ad for specifically a Spider-Man experience, and you're
'Kay.
like, "Whoa, that's cool." So you walk towards the Spider-Man experience. You get there and like you see Tom Holland or whoever, and they're sitting there doing their thing, talking to people, and they're like, "All right," and you're like, he puts his mask on and walks and goes behind to this building and like gets ready to go do his experience, and all of
Okay.
a sudden you see this like person just literally fling up and like do like a full backflip and like full like
straight
spread
straight out of the
eagle,
movie.
yeah, straight up.
Web swing from one building to the other building.
Yep.
Doing flips in the air and then going and landing over there.
Disney literally created a animatronic that mimics a human body that specifically moves like Spider-Man to just fly through the air like that to create like a Spider-Man experience. So you literally, and you can hear it. It's like a trebuchet, or it probably is more like you know how on air freights there's two different ways for planes to get taken off. They
Yeah,
either
yeah,
have
yeah.
a belt driven
Like
system.
a slingshot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it literally is exactly that. Just more on a vertical level of like
Okay.
of being like someone swinging. You know,
For
like an
anyone
actual-
out there listening, if you quite literally just search up Spider-Man animatronic, you'll
Yeah.
find quite a few videos on
Yeah.
it immediately on YouTube.
It looks like a human. It looks like a full-on person. I mean, and someo's not going to actually be doing that, but it looks
So
like
is this
a person.
for like is this for like a ride or an experience or
Yeah,
something?
no,
that
I mean,
they
that's
said?
So what it
exactly
is
what it is. It's
the
experience.
crowd stands here and you see an actor walking around waving at everyone, as Spider-Man in the Spider-Man outfit, right?
Yeah.
And then like he gets ready to do a swing, he kind of jumps back behind a ledge where you can't see him, and then they cue the animatronic. The animatronic swings out, and you see him swing from building to building, and then they have another actor on the other side come back out once the swing is done, and they wave back at the crowd
Mhm.
to pull off the illusion that he just swung from building to building as Spider-Man.
Such a cool thought, though. I mean, me seeing that, if I'm going to be honest, if I didn't see it
Imagine
on
the
the
money
internet,
that they poured into making that happen.
right? Just like millions, 100%.
Yeah, a million.
More than their movies.
That's a million. I would say because you have to remember movies
I mean,
nowadays
yeah,
are
true.
millions, like hundreds
Well,
of millions of
yeah,
dollars.
You're right.
That was probably like that's a drop in the bucket for Disney. That's a $1 million endeavor.
But think about how much money that's going to make them, though.
Well, right. They're gonna sell tickets for $40 a piece, and they're gonna make that money back in the next 2 months, and then
All I gotta say is that I think in the next century or so we're gonna see Disney, Google, I don't even know what other companies, Apple maybe. We're gonna see like all these big companies, and they're gonna be the head honchos of like leading tech going into the future. Because I mean, a movie company going into animatronics to create an experience when their specialty are animation. It's just like, think about that. Think about back in the 50s when like Pixar became a thing, and they built imagine if they built an amusement park.
I was reading an article that was talking about how tech companies nowadays have more spending power than the United States government
Oh yeah, 100%.
to be able to get shit like that done.
Absolutely. I mean, and the thing is like the government obviously has like a lot of avenues to get money from. Obviously, there's so many, but like,
You mean
company.
they have one avenue that they implement in everyone's life?
Yeah.
It's called taxes.
It's crazy though. It's so crazy to think of like what companies nowadays. I mean, it doesn't even stop there. I mean, Jeff Bezos with his space
Jeffrey
flight.
Bezos, dude, what
What a piece of shit though.
I know, dude. What a fucking
Great song. Piece of shit.
Disgusting displays of wealth are just.
It's literally being like
Right here, Max.
I
I have
can
it.
go
I
to
have,
space.
I
What do you
have,
mean?
I have a video brought up for you. to show you what it looks like
Oh, yeah, this is pretty crazy.
swinging.
So
It's gonna swing shortly after you hit play there. So
Whoa.
I mean, it totally recreates the movement
cool,
that
huh?
would be in a movie.
yep.
There was a lot of engineering that went into that.
Think about that though. Like you
A
have
full
to,
humanoid animatronic that
The-
just mimics human movement.
How does it reset? That's what I'm curious about.
It's
I mean-
literally it is a loose animatronic that the bulk of it being made is literally the thing being able to shift its weight. Think about that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
literally-
true.
It's just a mannequin that's able to shift its
So
weight.
do they
and
have like
move
a
its legs and
system, like an
arms.
elevator? They have people working up here, I'm assuming, that are bringing this back down, and it's going like under the ground and back up over to the other side.
probably.
Maybe
yes.
they just reset it, or maybe bring it back around the backside. And
I
move it
personally
around.
imagine that it lands on something safe, something soft,
Yeah,
that
some
it can
type
just kind of
like a
be
body-
there,
body,
and then they kind of just reset the program, set it on like standby or whatever until they get it back in position
Yeah.
for when they want to do the show.
It's got to be like a system. I would imagine they have. My guess is that building is nothing but an elevator on the inside. They're literally bringing it down,
Yeah.
under, going across,
under
back
like
up.
behind the eye.
Yeah.
Because I will say during that video, it's a while after the actor goes behind scenes
Mm-hmm.
until the actual animatronics swings.
There's
so
probably a good setup
well,
process.
what it is
and
is
testing
I was
and-
wrong with how it works. Is the actor actually goes over to the other side of where it's gonna land? It's the same actor. It's not
So
like two
I
actors.
wonder. In the meantime, he's going down through the elevator.
He's
probably.
running
Walking
from this
across,
side
climbing
over to
back
this
up.
side to be there when the animatronic lands.
It's probably a fucking pole. They have like a fireman pole, probably.
Dude, how heavy do you think that animatronic is though?
Oh,
that thing has to be
weighs
pushing,
500
like,
pounds.
Yeah, 500-600
half a ton,
pounds.
or that'd be a quarter.
Well,
of it.
I will
quarter
say
ton.
one of the videos that came up when I searched it was like literally how did Disney make a Spider-Man
I
animatronic?
saw the same video, but I didn't watch it.
So
I
like
kinda
I'm
wanna
sure
watch
it
it
goes
now,
through
though.
the whole thing of like how much that thing weighs and how it
Mhm.
like functions and all that.
Dude, it makes me wonder. I wonder if they went through like Boston Tech or something, because Boston Tech's pretty big in anime.
Boston
I don't know.
Dynamics?
They
Yeah.
definitely could.
What's going on, Darian?
It's very possible.
I would say probably something along that line. That'd be like the best way I could imagine something
It's
like
like
that
some
happening.
corridor digital type shit, dude.
We'll have to check them out, dude.
Man,
Technology, man.
it's crazy what could be done nowadays, and literally for like a fraction of the cost of what you would expect 10 years ago.
Oh, dude. Like, well, 10 years ago, dude, people
it was
had.
unimaginable. You know?
There's companies that probably still had CRT monitors 10 years ago.
I mean, let's be honest. There's still companies that still use CRT monitors. Probably.
My fucking arm hurts, dude. Holy shit.
I told you.
Yeah.
Everyone said that it wasn't gonna happen. I was like, I don't know, man. Like,
I even played Beat Saber right after I got it to like swing it around and get some movement in there.
I honestly,
It's gonna be sore.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Kenzie said that, and I was sitting there thinking, because you have to think, I had baby, right?
Yeah.
So, and like, I know you probably don't know too much about it, but when you hold a baby on your arm for like
oh my god,
10
yes.
minutes, it hurts. It doesn't feel good, but you kind of have to do it, right?
The child.
Imagine holding a baby in your left arm right now.
I couldn't.
Like, imagine.
I'm
just,
like leaning off to left here to like
Yeah.
let it rest because I don't want to move it at all. I'm gonna like whenever I go in to like go play games later, I'm just gonna like go.
I mean,
Eh.
that was
you-
that was basically me.
Eh.
That was basically me the day like I was all sore. Was literally like sitting down at my computer. I was just like,
I will say I am very glad I didn't get sick. I didn't get lethargic. I literally just had a painful arm. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's
From
about where
both
I'm at right
shots.
now.
Well, the second shot
Probably doesn't
yeah.
help that I'm
You
like
gotta- you
drinking
gotta-
while I'm doing
you
this.
gotta wait
But
for a second shot.
I'm gonna be honest. So Kenzie said to do a bunch of like movements. I think that's what killed my arm, was moving it.
I was gonna say I just played Beat Saber, man. I went right into like the hard ass songs that I'm totally rusty at and should not be jumping.
God,
on.
dude,
I should
I-
be doing like relaxed stuff to get like back into it. And I was like,
He was trying expert
trust me,
plus
I
stuff
heard
right
it.
away.
All I hear is
that's probably me actually going like, cause like when I play Beat Saber, I always like do something to the beat where I'm like either like
oh yeah, like
like click. I always click. I'm always
Is it
like,
click? Do you click with your tongue?
or I'm going. Cause like it helps me like know when to like I should be
Yeah.
like making contact with that note.
It
Cause
helps
if
you
I
with your rhythm.
yeah, if I'm
Justin,
going
I
like
think you would like his setup compared to mine because he's already got his sabers angled a bit.
Oh, does he have it angled like a Vive?
I mean, I don't know how angled
It's a
the
pretty
vibe is,
aggressive
but I
angle.
will say they're angled
Does it
like
feel,
immediately.
Does it feel like you're holding a saber coming out of?
No,
like,
absolutely not. It feels like
Oh.
it's sticking
No,
out
yeah,
the front of my hand.
immediately when I
so
put
you
on the
went
headset.
the other way. You went the other angle way.
I don't want it going back up into my wrist. That's the opposite way you want. You want it to be.
What you want to play Beat Saber like this?
The goal is to get it so you're going like this, where your hands are.
Well-
straight.
I would not like a saber coming straight out of my hands
Well,
like that.
so let me just tell you right now.
Straight.
Yeah, no.
Like,
when
like if you're.
I would want it coming out of the top of my hand like I'm holding a sword. Did you spill something?
No.
Okay.
no, he was checking.
Sorry.
When I immediately tried it out because I was gonna like try out the map he was playing. I noticed immediately offhand that they weren't sabers pointing up; they were pointing out like this.
Were you
And
saying I would like that?
Well, because that's what I was always told was the Vive setup.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You think on the Vive it comes like if I'm holding the Vive. Do you have a Vive controller? No, you got rid of it. If you were holding a Vive controller, right, and you're holding onto it, right, and you're like, let's say just like this
Yeah,
is the head
yeah,
of it, the saber comes out of the top.
Okay.
Like if you were to line up, let's say you're holding the Vive controller,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And it's the stick and then the bulbous circular, it
Yeah.
comes out like it would come out of the stick.
But just
Oh,
okay. So
okay.
Beat Saber controls. When you first load up the game with these controllers, it
Yeah,
goes
It's
like
it's at a little bit of an angle.
it goes up, dude.
Yeah.
It's like up, and I changed it so it's now like this.
But that's not even how the Vive was.
yeah, but it with these
I-
controllers.
I-
it
I mean,
feels
maybe
better.
I
you
was
may be right. Like I don't know. I don't.
I was
have the
misconfused.
index, so-
I thought that's how it was,
Mm-mm.
but I will say
It's like holding a sword. Think about like you're holding a sword. The
Right.
blade comes out of the sword.
I will say this, in that I need to learn how to play it like that
It's easier.
because
It's less-
because
it's less
that's
arm
how the
movement.
pros play it.
Yeah, it's
I
less,
literally
it's less
set
movement.
up my
You don't have to
controls
move your
one
arms as
time
much.
to like what like Bandut has his set to. If anyone knows who that is,
Nope.
he's a
Do
very
you not know who Bandit is?
he's
Really?
a Twitch streamer
I know
slash
who he
YouTube
is.
like poster.
He
that
was the original LS Toast.
yeah,
He
does,
was literally the original LS Toast. He was the first person.
LS
to
Toast does
really
the meme
make
stuff,
content in it.
right? LS Toast does the meme stuff and like the green screen room. Bandut does like the like shit that you think is
Intense,
impossible, and he
yeah.
does it while reading chat.
He
like
also
nothing.
he
And,
originally
like,
was playing on Vive too. I found that
Does
one
he
out.
sound like a nerd?
No, he
No.
sounds like a normal guy.
Okay.
But I mean, this man will literally like you have fucking 100 notes in front of you, and he's just slashing through them like crazy, and he's just like, "Oh,
So-
what's up, Jason? How
Yeah,
you doing in chat?"
That's the thing. He always talks to chat, and he never sounds like.
He never sounds out of breath. He's just
Never.
That's
going
that's
like
because
this.
he's playing like this.
Well,
Correct.
So that's the thing is like I'm gonna be honest. Like yeah, it would be amazing to be able to beat these ridiculously hard songs on Beat Saber, but that's not where the fun comes from. Beat Saber. It comes from being able to beat a hard song, but also at a good rhythm.
The fun. What I find the most satisfying and most fun about Beat Saber is when you play a song that is pretty quick paced and you're like really jamming and
Yeah.
everything, and you're hitting those notes, and it sound. Beat Saber to me is like an experience. It's I feel like Beat Saber gives you like a feel of power in the music you're listening to. Like you feel like you're making the music.
I personally do not feel that.
I
way.
feel like Beat Saber makes you
I-
feel like you're
that
making
makes,
the
feel
music.
that makes
I'm
it sound
playing
like
Osu.
Guitar Hero, and I don't blame you on that.
I make it feel like it's like Osu to me. Like I have to hit these notes to pass the song.
So
I mean,
okay,
yeah. I
for
mean,
me,
of course I am.
for me, the reason like I don't want to do like the crazy speed songs. I don't give a shit about those.
They're just not fun.
Correct.
When
yeah.
you literally
Justin's-
look at something and you see that is completely
If
undoable.
I
Justin
just wanna
doesn't
be
win,
able to
he's
do-
losing.
I want to be able to do
Kinda.
what they call tech maps.
That's how it feels.
Tech maps are like the fancy like got a cool pattern to them, but
Yeah.
they're difficult to play.
Difficult, but high. Yeah.
And
high
I
pattern.
am pretty certain at this point that if I learn how to play it with the angles outwards,
You
as
think
if
you
you're
could have
holding
that jumping
pistols,
skill.
that I'll be able to then
It's
get
because
those
you're
because
not using this. You're using this.
correct.
Which
And
is that's
right
this
now,
is-
right
this
now
is
I'm
literally,
using I'm
like,
going
that's-
like this,
That's where you get
moving
that
my
speed.
arms around, and I don't have the speed for
Yeah,
it.
I can see it. I can see it in your headset because when you go for like crazy combo notes and everything, you're like your head is moving because you're trying to like.
Well,
get
he
it to,
rocks
like-
out, dude. He fucking goes
well,
crazy.
I would say on the videos I try and make it a little bit more fun to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
his thing. That's his
Which-
signature.
Which kind of like I'm not gonna lie, that's difficult for me. It is
oh,
very
yeah.
difficult. Like
Absolutely, I know that for a fact.
if
'Cause
you
if you're trying to get into it, you have to like hold still and like, fuck.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever look at my videos, you'll notice The head is bobbing when it's a bit of an easier section, but as soon as it like picks up with notes, I have to sit still because I have to then focus.
It's hard.
And I still try and like bob along to certain parts. And I'm not gonna lie, I told Max this when I got here. I was trying to record a video before I got here, and I couldn't pass it because there were certain parts where it's like I'm bobbing along, but
He didn't
then
have his head
as
in the
soon
game,
as
man.
it spins up, I'm like, I can't pick up fast enough to like calm down and focus.
A part of me misses playing Beat Saber so much, but at the same time,
You're in the department that Max was before he got his index, so like you don't find it comfortable anymore.
but the headset just hurts.
Right.
And like the headset that I use out of VR, like my headphones,
Yep.
the ones that I have to use for VR are also uncomfortable. So like
Right.
they just both are uncomfortable.
I-
And like for the first like half an hour to an hour, it's not bad. But after like 2 to 3 hours, it
The second you
really
start
starts to
sweating.
wear. Yeah. Well, once you start feeling that VR fatigue, that's when it really starts coming through, and it multiplies.
Dude,
It gets worse and worse
I-
and worse, and you get sweaty and you get nauseous and you start getting headaches and
I
ugh.
can't tell you enough how crazy it feels to have my VR weight off my fucking cheekbones.
Yeah.
Having it
You
up
don't
here,
have raccoon anymore.
having it up here. No, trust me, because I crank my knob down, I still
what,
get
do you
it.
tighten
Oh
it?
yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Trust me. I put the headset on. I was like, whoa, I need that loose, Chief. I got a big head.
Out of curiosity, how are you liking the controllers now that you've used them and don't have the Vive controllers? Because trust me, I know well aware that they have their downsides and they have their plus sides. Personally, for me, I would keep them both and I would choose when to use them. But how do you like them now that you've used them? And especially being a VR chat, man. I mean, I feel like that's probably the biggest thing for them. But then again, you can't dance and stuff like that. So like,
I want to love them so much
why don't you love them though?
because it is so much more work to hold things in VR.
Yeah,
That right example.
yeah.
That Beat Saber map. That Beat Saber world that we went to in VR chat. You know how you're like, well,
Yeah.
just hold them. Well, I would.
You have to.
But the thing is,
literally-
in Beat Saber, I can let go of my controls a little bit. If I let go of the controllers in the Beat Saber map in VR chat, that lets go of the sabers.
Yep. Because like what you have to do,
you have to literally hold your hand. You have to literally.
grip it tight.
How tight though?
Like
Pressure wise, do you have to put pressure, or is it just does it have to sense your fingers
Grip it tighter.
like that?
There you go.
I would have to.
Yes.
Keep that constantly. You remember the Pavlov knife that we were playing? How I
Yeah.
said my hand was cramping up? Because that's how hard I had to hold the
Really?
fucking
you
gun.
have to grip it,
I had
dude.
to hold the
It
gun
doesn't-
like
it
that the
does-
entire
does it
time.
just sense your fingers
No.
laying on it?
No,
Really?
no, because it senses the grip strength. Because it has detect like sensors in there detect if you're gripping or if you just have a closed fist. So you have to hold a grip.
Oh, so there's a difference between this and
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
And I mean, honestly,
I didn't know that.
literally, if like we could do this after the podcast, but if he starts up the Steam VR, you go into there and you see your hands, you can see a
You can
difference
see it- you
between
can see
closed
it go from
fist
this
and
to
grip.
this. Yeah.
Closed fist and grip, you can actually see the finger difference.
and the tough thing in Pavlov,
It
dude.
feels like it moves a little bit too, so I can tell that that's there.
Right.
In Pavlov, dude, when we're playing Pavlov, we are holding onto the guns like that the entire
I'm
time.
now, like thinking about it, because like for me, I'm just
you
like
just triggers.
I just grab it once. Like if I gotta go grab something, right? Like let's say I go up to grab it, I'm just like dink. Like I grab my grip once and it just grabs it. And then I literally am just sitting here with my other hand like grab.
The
grab.
The entire
grab,
time, just in
and
like
then don't have to hold anything here, holding that.
that night,
Man, I see it now. I'm sorry.
that
sucks.
night that I was playing with you, and I like you had the zombie, and I was taking care of the boss. I'm running back and forth. My hand is just gripped tight like this the entire time, running
that's
back and
so
forth, back and
It's
forth.
about this much.
That's
about
crazy.
how hard.
That's a lot to just.
Yes.
So
And-
that's
and-
why I said when
There has
I
to
got
be an
done
easy
with that
grip
boss,
way though, right?
when I got done with that boss, I said, hold the zombie because I need to relax my hand.
Yeah,
because
that
I
makes
literally
sense now.
needed to stretch my hand back out because it was cramped up so bad.
I don't blame you now.
When
now
w-
that you bring it up and now that you're saying
because
that.
you grip and release and you're good.
Well, yeah,
and
you
you
just-
just
you
fling
press
that
a
you
button.
loosey goosey
It's a toggle. It's not a hold.
Fling that motherfucker around however you want and everything.
My way that I can relate to it is there's a way that there's in some games you can switch on the Vive controllers from the grip to toggle to hold.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine if you were to hold your grip on. I mean, and that's even probably not too far off from that, but you have to press a button with that. So
It's about the same pressure to trigger the buttons on the Vive. It's about the
I
same
could
pressure.
imagine. It's like
But like on the Vive, you just go click and you're done.
Have you
on
ever,
this, it's that.
have
the
you
entire
ever
time.
seen the Mythbusters episode? How long could you hold a grenade for?
Yeah. So okay, hold on. My one thing is I want to say too. When we're playing Pavlov and I have to go and reload. Here, let me just show you something real quick. Because I need 2 hands.
You're always holding the gun in your right hand,
Correct.
and then you have to release with your left.
So imagine
grab
this.
a mag.
No,
Oh,
it gets
man.
worse than that. It's worse than that because I have to. Because on your controllers you just rest your finger to what direction you want to move in, right?
Yeah.
So
But you're moving a stick.
So on here, I'm holding the gun with this. I'm moving forward, clicking.
Wait, what is clicking this?
Clicking is sprint.
That's sprint.
That's sprint.
That
So
activates sprint.
so not only so I have
Only
to
if
hold
your
even
hands
harder.
down.
You have to click the stick in. To
Yes.
sprint.
yeah, like you're running
Like
on
a
a
regular
like a
controller.
controller.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I move forward. I click. So now I had to press even harder on
You have
that.
to put your
and-
weight into here.
And now I'm still
to
holding.
push
Yes.
your thumb down to release your fingers
Yep.
to then be able to grab stuff.
Yep. So I have to release. I have to kind of like release
yeah.
that
Dude,
to
the
be able
amo-
to go in and grab.
the amount
grab
of
my
time-
mags.
But keep pressure on the thumb.
That's why
amount-
when you see me, I'm always dropping shit because I'm
Yeah,
trying to
that's
switch between all these.
understandable.
the amount of times I've had something on the left side of my hip in Pavlov and I try and run and I grab that instead by accident because I have to
So
grip
hold on.
my hand tight.
Because that's the thing is
What's
in
the- what's the
Pavlov,
difference
in
between
Pavlov,
grabbing ammo and grabbing like your knife
Here.
in Pavlov.
It's just-
I can
Because,
show
like,
I can
well,
show you.
No, because with for me, my trigger will grab my ammo. If I press
So-
my trigger on my left hip, it'll grab my ammo.
Okay.
If I
Alright.
grab my grip, it'll grab my knife.
If my hand is down here to grab either one, if I grab here, that is knife or whatever's on the left hip. If I grab with the trigger, that is then ammo.
Okay. So it's
Oh,
So
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
So
you
wait,
have
hold
to
on. When you say grab with this and grab with trigger, do you have to do both actions but one pull the trigger? So like one not pull the trigger, one pull the trigger, or what if you just pull the trigger?
that
With
would
your rings?
that would do nothing.
Nothing.
That
Yeah.
would do
That
absolutely
would literally
nothing.
do nothing.
nothing.
Correct.
What the fuck?
All it would do is make my hand look like this in Pavlov.
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So you have to fully grip with trigger pulled to grab ammo, and then the
After
thing
we
is
get wrapped up, I kind of
the-
want to try it just to see.
the-
just so I
You're
can
welcome to.
experience
the
it.
thing is like in Pavlov, so you have to do the full trigger pull for all of the
Mhm.
reload stuff too. So when I'm reloading that LMG, I have to click here, pull up, click here, put the
That's a
put
lot.
the,
That's a lot.
Dude, I
That's a
know.
lot of
That's
hand
why.
movements.
That's why you always hear me bitching. Oh shit! I fucking dropped my
'Cause
gun
literally,
again.
for me,
'Cause
it's literally click or click. Like that's it. That's
The-
it. That's
the
all I
hand
do.
fatigue,
I
dude, the
keep- I
hand
keep my
fatigue on
thumb
these
in one
is
position.
insane.
I keep my thumb in one position, and I just press two buttons. I just press two different buttons.
Also, people are always talking about fucking stick drift with these. Like eventually they
bad?
might start to drift. No, I've not experienced anything.
no, I don't even have stick drift yet.
But like,
The-
if for
the
somebody
only-
who plays Pavlov every day, I could definitely see
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're
'Cause the
abusing
weight-
that fucking
the
right
weight
stick
that you
so
put
much.
into it.
Yeah.
Doesn't the thumb itself has tracking?
The-
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the thumb. So if you go up here, it literally will change the position of. So if you
does it track externally or does it track via?
no,
on top
it
of the
touch.
button?
So when if I touch
it
this,
tracks touch no matter if you're on the
Those are
buttons,
some
the
expensive
sensor.
buttons.
Or the,
yeah,
So-
they are.
Justin, I'm telling you right now, I've used the LMG enough that I can literally mimic the action of it. So I press B on that controller, right?
What does B on this controller do?
B on this controller is what allows me to then disattach the magazine. So, all right, I'm out of
You
ammo.
can't just grab the LMG
Nope.
mag.
Nope, I have to detach it, just like you,
You're
just like
sure?
you press,
I don't have to disengage my LMG mag.
just like it's the same button that I would.
So just like a pistol.
yeah, just
every
like a
single
pistol.
weapon.
So
You
so
have to do
B
that.
button drops the mag out. You press B to.
But it doesn't do that on the LMG though. It doesn't.
All right,
drop
I
the
will
mag.
fully
you have,
admit-
you have to pull the magazine off.
I will
the
fully
LMG.
admit I've never tried it without pressing B, but that's
Okay.
what I do anyway because I'm used
I'm
to
going
that.
to tell you this right now. B is specifically to release
on
magazines
the
for
on the
guns
LMG,
that
you
release.
don't have to
Okay,
do that.
probably not.
Oh, but
So-
what I can tell you is on pistols. I don't know if you knew
Yeah,
this,
for
Mike,
pistols.
but on pistols, you know how there's a slide lock on the pistols that'll
Yep.
keep the slide back if you press B and drop the mag out. If you slide the new mag in and leave the slide out, all you have to do is
Pull the trigger.
I don't think it's trigger. It's A. I think it's A. If you press A, it'll click it forward, you don't have to manually grab it.
I mean,
It'll go
slide.
and automatically pull it
I
forward.
know.
Like a
I
real
know.
gun.
There's definitely gun physics with that, like the Magnum. Like I can load the gun and then flick it this
Fuck
way.
The Magnum, man. Yeah, the Magnum.
You can
works
you can
that
flick
way.
it this
That's
way.
cool. That's
But
what
what I
And
say
to empty it out, you also just pull it down like
with
that.
the LMG, I will go out. Obviously, I'll press B. I don't need to. Maybe
I don't think it does.
But I
just to
press
let you
B,
know.
grab the magazine out, throw it away, grab a new one,
Slap
put it
it
here, grab, open,
Yep.
grab, feed, grab, close,
And
grab, cock.
and then grab
And
and then
then-
hold.
And now I
both
don't
of
have to pull the
these.
trigger to
What
hold
is
it.
Does this trigger do anything while you're grabbing?
No.
No.
So you don't. Do you have
So-
to put this finger on the
If
trigger?
you wanted to use
No,
two
no.
hands on a rifle, you
The
are
grip- so you
gripping
just have to
both
So
hands.
I just have to grip this if I'm gripping the front of the gun.
Mm.
So I'm like this when I'm firing and then clicking this.
Hypothetically, if you were to like release on your finger here, as long as this is connected, you
This
would
is
still
grip
hold
as
on
long
to
as
the
this is
gun.
gripping. Yes, because when I'm running, when I have the gun to my side, I'm like this, where I don't have my finger gripping to it.
Yeah, if you
because
watch
you're
us
only
when we're
pulling
playing,
the trigger.
Yeah, if you watch us when we're playing, every
You'll
time
see
we're
the
doing
hands like
something,
this.
our fingers are always finger guns
Really?
because of how we hold the controllers.
Well, now I'm kind of happy. I still have a Vive controller. So.
I'm gonna be honest. It's unfortunate.
Pros
that
and cons.
What,
Pros
what
and cons.
happened to your What happened to your set?
I still have it all. It's in a box.
You should keep the controllers out. Honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
But I know your batteries are really shit on your controllers.
That's the one downside is that my batteries
Get
on
new
those
ones
controllers
and put them
are-
on. I mean, is it
You
soldered?
can't buy them anymore. The batteries are discontinued completely. so
The
you used
batteries are
you
discontinued?
used to be able to
I
buy
feel like
aftermarket batteries.
As long as you get any of the right voltage and mah.
No, because they have to fit into the controller,
are they pretty small?
and they're
Are they-
very
are they-
odd
are they-
shaped.
Are they weird shaped?
Yeah, they're a weird shape. Yeah, and no company is making the batteries right now because I was going to do
what kind
that.
of batteries are there?
They're like
Are
they're
they
like a
lipos?
phone battery.
So they're
Yeah.
lipos, technically.
They're a lithium-ion battery.
Lithium-ions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
If
Pros
I were
and
you,
cons.
I would keep them
Pros and
around.
cons.
I might
Because
think I
like
might.
in VR chat and like games.
What
that
I
you-
don't know though is how they connect. I don't because like I just realized I was expecting to unplug dongles from my computer when I was like doing the switch out, and I was looking at the controllers. I'm like, there's no dongles. How do these connect?
There's
to
no
the system?
dongles for the Vive controller either, though.
There's no controllers for dongles for these or the Vive controllers.
Yeah.
So my question is how do the Vive controllers connect to anything?
The headsets.
So
Bluetooth.
when you power them on, they
Bluetooth.
just see these
It's Bluetooth.
on the headset.
Yeah.
So how do I pair? Oh, I could just go on there
It's
and
just
I do the
Bluetooth.
pairing.
Well, no, it's not even that. You literally just turn them on, and maybe you have.
I
to pair
might
them.
try. I might try Pavlov with the fucking other controllers.
It honestly is probably a world. It's gonna be way different. It's gonna feel way different. But like,
Right, you're gonna have
used
to,
the
you're gonna
Vive
have to go through
controllers.
training to kind of relearn it.
I feel like I'd catch on
it's
pretty
the,
quick.
Well, it's the
It's pretty
same
quick.
concept
It's
of
less
like
controllers. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
the thing is when we got him to play with us, he was like, "Oh, well, I did the training a while ago," and I was like, "Yeah, but that was on
Yeah,
Vive
dude.
controllers.
Yeah,
you need to
dude,
relearn it."
it was
and
so
immediately he was
different.
like, "No, I'll be fine." The first game we went in, he's like, "I don't know how to load my gun. Help, guys." And I was like,
I didn't know how
"Man,
to grip
if only you
anything."
did the fucking training."
I feel for you guys now. Now I kind of feel bad whenever I'm thinking about, because I'm gonna be honest. What I knew
Finger tracking is so cool.
in my
but
eyes.
these controllers fan fucking tastic for VR chat. I love them in
Well,
VR
and
chat.
any non
Well, they're realistic. That's the
practical-
thing.
Any non-practical use, they're amazing. But as soon as you try to do something practical in a game, you immediately have to run through the issue of you're not just trying to haptic something you're holding, you're trying to haptic physically something that isn't even the object to hold it.
I've seen Amazon sells this really cool thing. It's a carbon fiber rod
Yeah,
with clips
yep.
that grab onto this,
Mhm.
and you go, and you can literally it locks them in place.
So,
So,
it
you can,
feels like you're holding a
yeah,
gun.
and I kind of want to get it and see what it's like.
The only thing is, though, is I feel like depending on the games, I mean,
The
like,
thing is,
how would it
I'm-
work for Pavlov? You'd
It-
have to unsnap it.
No, it's got a system where what you do is you tilt forward and you can literally just it's done. It's released, but the
Oh.
back one stays locked.
Yeah, which
and
makes
then,
sense.
And then the front one is just
It makes me think of the Wii Zapper, if you remember that.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
it is literally like a modern Wii Zapper.
The thing is,
There's a guy on TikTok that has one that I watch, and
There's also a-
he's so fucking smooth with
There's
it.
also a girl who's really big into the Darth Vader or Darth Maul saber
yes, yes.
attachments.
I know what you're
I
referencing.
think she does it with the Oculus though.
She does it with Vive controllers.
She does it with Vive
Oh
controllers.
no, you're right. It was Vive. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely right.
Which is sketchy because doesn't she put them on the ends of it?
Well, so what she does
No.
is she bought the
Or
ends,
is it-
right? And then she modified it, made it shorter for her because she wanted it shorter. And then she has it's literally it's wraps. She has her controllers wrapped to the poles. They're sturdy, but it's wrapped. It's literally fabric wrapped onto it.
I would be so afraid.
I mean,
that would
dude, let's
come
be
off.
honest. You punch your walls. What do you mean you'd be afraid?
I have yet to punch my wall with those.
This is the
Which
this
is
is the
good, 'cause
man.
it'd probably
This is the
burn.
man
Yeah.
that literally we're playing Pavlov with last night, and he said, "Ow! I ran into my wall." We all heard it
Where'd you
come through
run
the
into?
microphone.
It was that back corner right over there. I bent down and I literally my head like my hands I quietly because I was
The
reaching
man-
out to pick something and it was like this.
The man gloats about not having a grid show up when he's near his walls. The man show.
Dude, you
man,
gotta get your play space
No, I don't
safety.
Like, I don't like the grid.
I'm gonna be honest. I literally have learned. You'd hate seeing my grid. It's a grid. You see it. It's a fucking.
You have like
hash-
the little squares.
No, medium squares.
So
I
okay.
have the default squares, and
Yeah,
it's a
I
nice
use the default.
it's a nice purple grid.
Well,
and that's how-
I did turn
there's
them
a
on.
small,
I did turn them
medium,
on the other day because I was
large, and
working
then
on
there's
troubleshooting
ground,
some
and
like
then there's
tracking
none.
issues, but
That's how I literally I showed you exactly in VR. I just hold my hands up and back like this, and it'll activate my grid, and I'm like, okay, I'm in a good space here. And then that's how sometimes if I want to look the longer way of my room, I turn that way then, and I'm like, okay, now I'm facing this way, so I got more space to walk forward or backwards.
I don't have a lot of space this way. I have more space this way than this way.
Same.
So if I move back or forward too much, I know to center myself.
Oh yeah,
my
the minute I take a step
Yeah.
forward or back, I will get the grid showing up, and I'm like, okay, I need to be
Mhm.
careful with that.
For you, this literally right here is
Well,
probably.
what I do is my carpet I know if any no matter what direction I'm in, I know if I'm in any direction. I only got like 2 feet on every side except for the back side that I have
Yeah,
left.
you have a little bit more space back here.
I will say the grid on mine would piss Max off because I literally see the grid while I'm playing Beat Saber, but I've gotten so used to it that
Do
it
you
doesn't
really see
bother
it while
me.
you're playing Beat Saber?
Because when I reach my hands out, I'll see it fade in just barely. It's not really apparent, but I see it fade in just barely enough.
Only time I ever see my grid in Beat Saber is if I'm playing 360. But that's like me moving and stuff like
Right.
that, and moving forward. It's hard to stay centered.
Yeah, my grid when the
You
grid
you don't have a play space, all right, Kens? Unless you move out of your space, and then you have a play space, and then the game's like, whoa!
I will say
Get
playing
back in, bruh.
playing Beat Saber on I played it on Julian's
It's
Quest.
amazing, dude. Oh my god! I literally, it was back when I was learning. I first chanced Crystallized Expert Plus.
I
It
think
felt
that
great.
I made the mistake of trying it while I was still wearing my sweater and everything.
Oh god!
And I went and I just because it had just come out, I went and played Spin Eternally on
No.
Expert Plus, and I made it pretty decently far.
Mhm.
But then I was like, I'm getting too fucking hot in this thing.
It's a really comfy headset. I mean, I literally almost considered buying it to replace my Vive.
Well, what was
I mean,
nice?
you also did too. But I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
What was nice is that
I would buy it to
Julian
give it to
bought
Zoe.
Julian bought
But
the
not
third
to-
party
not for
things that
myself.
make it like a index controller where
Yeah.
it attaches.
Where it has the
So
the
it
back
felt
straps.
very common to me.
yeah, the back straps
Immediately.
on Julian's controller is key.
It was
And
nice.
Austin has them too. They're very key.
Yep.
I will say
And he also has that head strap now too.
dude, I will say though, I was playing VR chat with Kenzie and I was in her headset trying to help her fix some stuff and everything, get her play space set up. There is such a quality difference between,
Oh, of course.
it is so
It's natural. It's a natural quality difference. It's not just the quality difference of the headset or the visuals. It's literally
The
a
feel.
natural downgrade of
I mean,
resolution.
yeah,
of-
everything feels like it feels like a $300 headset.
It's I mean it's literally a seamless experience with less quality. But if you don't know anything different, how are you gonna know?
right, exactly. But I almost felt like my vibe felt higher quality.
It
Then
does, but less resolution.
I would say
Less- but feels higher
renders,
quality.
higher
it renders
quality,
high.
less resolution.
It renders higher. It shows less because of the resolution.
But what I'm saying though is I'm not talking about what the screen looks like. I'm
The
talking about the
actual
feel,
physical-
how it feels in my
Right.
head and everything, dude. My vibe in the poor, sad state that it is right now felt like a higher quality headset than the.
I'm gonna be honest. The Vive for me, and I don't know if this feels the same for you, because you obviously interact with your headset a lot different than I do. But I don't have an issue with my controller, or sorry, my headset. once it's on. Once I have it on my head, then I'm like cool. But once I like am trying to like get it off and like move around with the straps and like deal with all like the loose fabric and stuff like that, that's when I have like a bad time with my headset.
After I spend an hour in the Vive is when I get I'm like good. I hate my life. Like,
well, so in the Vive, you could feel the heat, right? You could feel the heat literally like
I can feel the heat. I can feel the heat on that, but it doesn't bother me anywhere near
That's
as
the
much.
question is like you can feel the heat like on your eyeballs, right? Because it's like
Sorry, I didn't mean to kick
But you see that opening right there?
Everything.
That's got room for a fan. You can literally put a fan in there so it won't overheat your face.
How does that feel in comparison? Because like obviously it's lighter and like weight distribution's way better, but like how does it feel in terms of like sweatiness?
They fucking nailed the face gasket.
Like do you drip sweat in front of your face?
No.
Like it stays pretty contained.
I will say
like
you,
it doesn't
you
fog up. You don't have to do a.
No, you have to sweat pretty crazily, and which I have before, to actually drip out of the headset.
You need to be soaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to be soaking. Like you could probably be dripping sweat off your chin before
don't
it goes
get me wrong.
into your
Yeah,
face.
you'll probably feel it around your face in general, but I just want to make sure that like you're not sitting there fucking profusely sweating in the headset.
No, it absorbs into the headset, which is why a lot of the times during my
you just put it up in front of the AC.
right, yeah, during my Beat Saber streams and all that, I would literally take it off and I take the gasket off and I put it in front of my AC or in front of my window during the winter.
I remember that's what we did when
my one thing
when
I'm
I
gonna
came
do
over.
is buy another one of these so when other people come over they can use it because the fabric it sketches the fabric sketches me out. Do you feel that, dude?
Why does it sketch you out?
Because it soaks it up.
Oh yeah, it's gonna soak up sweat, but this is such a good fabric.
Put it on your.
Do I look good?
You look like you're scuba diving.
Oh my god, I do actually. I love the fabric though. It's so much better than that shitty foam.
Oh, dude, it's so good, and it's crazy too
That
because
shitty foam with
that
leather
shitty foam
that's
was insulating
ripping.
too.
The leather that's ripping.
Yeah.
dude, this is like a very it's breathable is what it. I was joking with I think it was Joey the other day was on. I was joking with him. I said, yeah, I wouldn't doubt Vive having their engineers set up 100 different fabrics that were potentially cases.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And they all probably sat there with headsets on
For
just
hours.
with
With,
fabrics
like,
on
yep.
going.
For hours, just to like feel it.
Yeah, and they probably finally settled on this one, and I
Imagine the amount of playtest hours that they had to put in to be able to test everything to make it all feel right.
that's why this costs what it costs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and it's also like literally a next to none VR headset. Like, there's no VR headset out there right now on a consumer level.
the only-
The HP Reverb the HP Reverb 2 version 2 is a pretty damn good competitor.
That was made with them. Like they
yeah,
literally worked
Vive,
with.
yeah, the face gasket and the head strap was manufactured and made and designed by Valve for the Reverb.
Really?
Right. Yeah. You literally look at the Reverb and it has the same speakers.
Interesting.
Same speakers, very similar head strap, same fabric.
Interesting. I mean, that's why Valve made such a good headset, though. They literally they had the lighthouses, they had the controllers.
Hey man,
Like, I mean,
it takes Valve.
everything.
It takes Valve a long time to make things, but they make it right.
I mean,
Well, that's the philosophy of
I-
Valve time. That's why that term Valve time exists.
I will go back to a statement I made literally just last night. Look at what happened with Left 4 Dead, and look what happened with Back 4 Blood.
Right? Yeah. You and Joey were talking about that. Like the difference between Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood. They're the same teams, but one had
Similar teams.
One had Valve direction with it, telling them that, hey, we should do this, and one was the more of what they saw in the first place.
And they took their time making the damn game, more importantly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so if I remember correctly, Left 4 Dead 1 in particular, because it came out in 2000.
Three?
I don't even want to put a date on it because I'm gonna probably be
Hold on.
wrong.
My one thing about the Vive quick side note, I would want to go back to them to use them for it, but I just remembered that the vibration haptics don't work in one of them, and so now I'm completely turned off from the idea of using it.
That's a pretty fair statement. You could spend $250 and get
You
another
wanna
set.
take-
I would rather buy an entire new index kit just to get the lighthouses.
You want to take a guess at what it was?
I'm gonna say
Year-wise?
2000 and
2008.
I was gonna say originally 2007, but I was like, not after.
November 17th, 2008.
Left 4 Dead 1 was released after Halo 3.
Yep. And then Left 4 Dead 2 came out 2009.
Yeah, it was a year later.
What an era of video games, though.
Let's be honest. We were literally just talking about how like you were saying I was not happy with the state of games. I mean, go back to when those games were being made. Like, think back to when.
But this is the main difference, and I think this is why the state of games are where they're in right now. Game developers used to take their time on games,
and they still fucking should. They shouldn't shit content.
and
out.
now it's all about we just released this game immediately.
Yeah,
your team, we're
exactly.
going into the next one, and we need to have it done in a year.
I get that funding and stuff.
There's
like
no
that,
time for
like,
development.
force
There's no
that,
time
but
for fundamentally making something
why
new because
release
everyone.
a game that isn't finished.
I don't get I to this day I always use I call it the call I'm coining this term, but it's the Call of Duty mindset. Release a game with a battle pass
Fix
and
it later.
put content in later. I don't understand that. And then charge $60 for the fucking game. I will
honestly
never
think
understand that mindset.
I think it's at this point where the teams look at it and go, okay, the playtesters that they have run it. Okay, is the game playable?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, the game is playable. It has some bugs and stuff that we haven't figured out, and like we haven't been able to test everything. Okay, release it. Have the public test it for us.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it is.
Right. They have the public test it, and they go, oh, well, of course, we would have never thought to look there for this issue. All right, fix that one. Fix that one.
Games used to like
They
when there
didn't
was
have that second chance.
well when there was sequels they didn't have the second chance because they couldn't update a game
Right,
midway
yeah,
through.
They
exactly.
wouldn't update a disc game after it came out.
The other thing too is nowadays developers look at a game and they're like, we want to get another one out right away, so they don't spend any time on like engine development or like making any changes. They're like, we'll just recycle the same engine, it'll be fine, we'll just change up the guns a little bit,
Or
or
you
do
could be Call of Duty and make a whole new engine and just be absolute shit.
well, because they spent
Okay,
No,
they
no,
spent
no,
sorry,
no.
sorry.
The new engine is not shit.
They pull out a archived version of a old engine and then use that from like 7-8 years ago.
and that's probably why it was good, was because at the time they spent all that time developing it.
wasn't good.
Well, then
Well,
never mind.
okay.
I don't know.
But I will say Vanguard, because Vanguard is Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare used
Which
the new
is-
engine very well.
It is still the best engine Call of Duty has made. If we're going to use it as an example.
Cold War was made on the old engine because they
Black
didn't
Ops
update their
4
thing.
I have
Black Ops 3 engine.
I have the perfect example. I have the perfect example of how games should progress.
Let's hear it.
You use
Risk
Valve.
of Rain 1, Risk of Rain 2.
Well, to go on the whole engine thing, I
They
like
made a fantastic game that started off as a 2D side scroller with a wonderful concept and then adapted it like 5 years later to a
You are very right. Yes, you are very right. That's how progression of games should be, but it would definitely not be in the way that it shouldn't be, and it will not be in the same way that Risk of Rain did it. It
No,
won't,
no, no,
It won't go
absolutely
from
not.
a 2D
Right.
platformer to a 3D.
I'm just using it as an example as
open
to like
world
how fundamentally different
yeah.
the game was,
they
but
literally
somehow still the same.
absolutely amazing gameplay in almost a completely seamless way, just newer.
for sequels, that's good. But I'm gonna jump back to Valve.
Well, franchises as well.
I'm gonna jump back to Valve though. They took the Source engine and they made how many different types of games with it?
Yeah. I mean,
They
let's
made-
be honest.
like-
though,
like
think about it. The
Half-Life-
Source engine is all based off of first-person shooters.
Well, it was based off.
whole thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Source.
Originally, it was Counter-Strike.
Well, Counter-Strike was before Counter-Strike was Counter-Strike.
It was Counter-Strike.
I
and then
believe
Counter-Strike
that
Source.
I believe the engine that Counter-Strike originally was using was a modified version of the Quake/Doom engine.
You may be
Possibly,
right.
yeah.
I'm
you may
pretty
be
sure-
right. I don't know. I don't know
But
anything about that.
but I'm just saying like the
It
Source
sounds right,
engine. The Source engine is Counter-Strike, Half-Life,
Team Fortress.
Team Fortress, Portal, Left 4
Left
Dead.
4 Dead.
Now, granted, they're all first-person shooters, so they all have a similar feel, and like all the games do feel similar, but they are all different games
yeah,
that
they're
are
all
done
different,
right.
completely style games. I mean, Counter-Strike is literally to the dot a pinpoint accuracy
Hey,
game, where like TF2 is more archaic or arcadic, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Archaic.
zombie game and like all these different genres, yeah.
Source distantly originates from the Gold Source Engine, Gold SRC, which is Gold Source Engine. It's itself, okay, I'll just read it as it is. Gold distantly originates from the Gold SRC engine, itself heavily modified version of John Carmack's Quake engine with some code from the Quake 2 engine. Carmack commented on his blog in 2004 that there are still bits of early Quake code in Half-Life 2. Valve employee
way.
Eric Johnson explained that engines nomenclature on the Valve development community.
So, I mean, how did Valve get in any way related to a Quake engine? How they
Quake
take,
Quake itself is owned by Valve.
I didn't know that. Actually.
That's what got Valve.
Is that why Quake Champions was such a big hit?
Yeah, Valve in its early like fundamental like the birth of Valve.
Yeah, like
they
back in the
bought
early days
up
of 2001.
They were buying up game developers to work on their games left and right.
I mean, that's exactly what happened with Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and the Source Engine by Quake, they bought Quake. They bought all the rights to
I
Quake.
did not know
Yeah.
Valve owned Quake. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
they own that
So
IP.
they owned all of the ideas of Quake.
No. They bought out the rights. They bought out
So-
they bought Quake IP.
So they have the rights to use objects of Quake.
Yep. Source
They
was
don't own
developed
it.
by part from his fork onward, slowly displacing Gold SRC and Valve's internal projects, and in part explaining the reasons behind its unusually modular nature. Valve's development of Source since it has been a mixture of licensed middleware and in-house development code. Among others, Source uses Bing Video for video playback, which is another company that they ended up buying out. But yeah, they
You know how excited I am for the new Source engine to come out? It's coming. You know that, right?
oh yeah, 100%.
You guys know that they already have like leaked information.
I
of
mean,
Left 4 Dead 3.
they have the VR Source Engine that exists.
Well, yes, but it's obviously it's new. But
Right.
I'm saying like a new, like almost Unity equivalent.
Right.
And
Do you know how Valve works? Have you ever like looked into like how
or
Valve makes
how
games?
like how they do it.
Like how they make games?
I remember hearing about the process.
So-
very briefly.
So
it's very in-homey process.
The
so-
reason why Valve Time that term exists is because the way that Valve treats its employees and everything is they have all these game developers that are always these guys are always working. They literally pick favorites. Like if I'm a game developer and I have an idea, I could be any game developer in Valve. I could be a starter, an old guy, anyone. I could have an idea and go talk to the employees at Valve and be like, "Hey, do you guys want to work on a project with me?"
Yeah, it's a very open concept.
Yeah, and
it's the same idea that back in the early to late 90s, how tech companies worked in that way.
exactly.
It's
remain,
probably one of the most functional ways a tech company can work.
Well,
You didn't-
yes and no, because remember, Valve. The only reason why Valve can get away with doing that these days is because they have Steam. If Steam didn't exist, the developers, like the developers,
there
that
wouldn't
were
be any money.
they would not be able to do it.
Yeah.
But these guys are funded and paid on the back of what Steam is providing.
Everything that
I
Steam
like that
does.
concept that like just because you're new, you don't have to worry about you not being heard.
Yeah.
Like if you have the idea and have a concept of how it could work, you could get a team together to work
Did you
on it.
Yeah, and you literally just ask your employees, like, hey, I know you're a cool art guy and stuff, and I have an idea, a project I'm working on, but I'm gonna need some art for it. Would you mind like spending some time and maybe helping me out on this project and get some art out here for this new game I'm thinking about?
Right.
And that's how they do it. They
Yeah.
literally communicate internally, one-on-one like that.
Those poor guys have to deal with Lua, man. Think about that. Those poor guys.
Yeah,
have to
but they
deal
know
with
how to
Lua.
work
Yeah,
it
the
though.
thing is,
I mean,
when you know it, it's not that bad.
True. I mean, especially if you live and breathe it. I
mean, God knows Gary did.
His new game is all Lua based.
Is
he have a new game?
Rust Lua based?
Rust is very heavily Lua. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
What is Gary's new game?
You haven't heard?
No.
I'm currently I'm in the beta list. You want to know what my estimated wait time is?
7 years or something.
200,000 years.
Oh my God. What is it? What is the game?
I don't know. He's got very minimalistic. It's the current team for testing is like super minimalistic.
Did they say anything about it?
Yeah, there's a whole website for it. I forget the name of it, but
Shooter, adventure, puzzle. Probably a shooter.
it's that weird funky game. with
Usually
the
Can I
people.
just say that is one thing that I've always loved about Steam is that like the base game can exist and the workshop can carry it.
Oh, dude, it's
There's so many
insane.
games like that.
I'm gonna be honest, and
The Portal mods.
I was gonna say it's so unfortunate to say this, But Portal 2 is a perfect example where, don't get me wrong, the base game, amazing.
Right.
Multiplayer and single player,
Right.
both amazing. I've beaten it so many times and I can still go back through and enjoy it.
Yep.
But
It
the
would
workshop-
not get anywhere near as much playtime.
the workshop has so much to offer, and that's even with them dropping it. Think about it. They had a trading system that they were going to implement that still isn't implemented.
So
didn't know
it's
about
called
that.
it's called
It's a robot enrichment is what it's called.
Oh yeah, right.
Where
it's
you, you're
called
supposed to
Sandbox,
train
by the
them.
way.
It's called Sandbox.
Yep.
It's literally just called Sandbox.
called
He's
Sandbox.
making a game called Sandbox.
Yep. And
He's
it's,
making Gary's Mod too.
I was gonna
It's
say, he's
essentially
making
Gary's
Gary's
Mod
too.
Sick.
I mean, hey, if he's making it, dude, he's probably going to be building on the new Source engine, man.
I would imagine he would.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
If we literally get a Gary's Mod 2, that'll blow up like crazy.
We first
Because
heard
there's
about
so many games that kind of are the new Gary's Mod.
Well, yeah, there's so many games that try and piggyback off of it.
You ready for this? You ready for this?
Think about all of the prop hunt games.
You ready?
All of the Among Us.
Are you ready?
Right.
Like all of them.
Are you ready?
Yep.
We first heard about Sandbox nearly 3 years ago when Newman wasn't quite sure that his code would become Gary's Mod 2. And it's possibly that it didn't, since the game has switched engines and has been developed since seen development
Dude, it's
start
built on the new
and
Valve
stop
engine.
several times, and since then Gary's Mod is the most popular physics and nonsense sandbox for the original Source engine, and the tale of the total accident that led to its creation is a fascinating read. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's that story I read you. The development of Gary's Mod, the history of Gary's Mod.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The tale, how a total accident led to Gary Mod's funniest creature, 15 years of twisted success.
Yeah, it was just him messing around with the engine in like Half-Life 2 and modding it himself.
Yep.
Right?
It was literally the equivalent.
And then
of
Valve
what
was like,
people do now.
"Oh, what you working on there, bud? Would you like some money for that project? I think it could be pretty successful if you had like a proper team and everything. And in return, we only want the rights to everything in your ass and your everything
I mean,
you
let's
own."
be honest though. I don't think Gary's Mod would have. It's the Valve effect.
It is the Valve effect. Yeah.
No one would be talking about the games that they come out with if it wasn't made by Valve.
The reason why it's successful is because of Steam. Steam is
Yeah.
what makes Gary's Mod Gary's Mod.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the balls they had to have to literally put an achievement in there if you end up in a lobby with Gary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like-
and I'll never
like-
get that achievement. It's like it is like one of
He doesn't
it is,
play the game
It is
anymore.
one of 2 or 3 achievements I will
Hey.
never get on Gary's
Just
Mod.
ask Sam, man. Doesn't matter. Steam doesn't care.
Sam is
Sam's down right now.
yeah,
but,
Sam ain't working right now.
But it's okay because Steam doesn't care.
Well,
Steam doesn't care.
well, yeah, but also you remember not a lot of people know about not that many people are friends with Sam. You got to remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like Sam's pretty well known.
Sam is not Sam is not as big in the community as you
Well,
think Sam would be.
I would say you
I feel
think
like Sam's also a little bit shamed.
You think-
yeah, Sam is very very
You don't see anything about Sam's legacy ever.
nobody that's
I've never seen Sam on someone else's account.
Justin, just to give you an example.
Well,
You
never.
Think, you
Yeah.
think
well, except for yours, but
you think Sam is well known? I don't know who Sam is. I
you
literally have
really
no
don't-
idea.
You don't need to know who Sam is.
We're
I
not-
know
we're-
I don't. I know
we'll,
I don't.
We'll tell you Sam. We'll tell you who Sam is.
I have an idea of what it is.
outside of this.
Yeah.
But
Sam is there for when you need him.
Right. I have an
There is-
exact
there
idea.
is
there's a very
times-
niche case scenario where Sam would come in handy.
There's
there's
times
an
when you
exact
want to use him, and then there's times where Sam wants to be used.
There's
and
an-
you don't want to give in to when Sam wants to be used. You kind of just want to use him as you need him.
There's an
because-
exact example of
Because Sam will take over your life.
there's an exact example of where I can think that Sam was brought into play, and that is on Zup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That is exactly who I thought Sam was.
Sam.
Yeah, but unlike Sam, actually, no, Sam did also get shut down, but not permanently. Sam isn't shut down permanently, just like Halo mods, unfortunately.
Sam.
Poor Halo mods.
Sam needs
Dang,
Sam
you
needs a
didn't
little
wanna play
TLC
it.
right now, but you have to remember
Sam's been old. He's old.
Sam's an old guy.
He's like coming up to 10 years here soon.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's old.
And the thing about Sam is like everyone likes to like kind of keep Sam around as like a friend,
I keep him around.
but like
I
nobody.
keep him in my internet history. though.
But nobody ever wants to talk about
no,
keeping Sam
no
nearby.
one is ever gonna talk about Sam. The second Sam gets talked about, I mean, I'm pretty sure Papa Valve knows about Sam.
Okay,
They have to
here's
by
the
now.
problem
They
is
have to.
if
Years and
you
years.
talk about Sam too much, your down payment on a house investment account will quickly disappear.
Well, I don't believe that's true because as I've come to find out,
Valve terms of service would say otherwise, just so you know. I'm just letting you
I
know.
mean, you're definitely right. But the nature of Sam, what Sam provides for us as an entity, is okay.
If anybody,
But Sam's
who's
existence is not okay.
if anyone in stream or in comments or YouTube, wherever you're watching this, if you know who Sam is,
Dude.
you get bonus points.
Shout out to Sam.
If you don't comment anything about Sam.
Guys, the first rule about Sam is you don't talk about Sam.
Exactly. Anyway,
I
so
can see it now. The YouTube comments are going to be filled with who's Sam?
Yeah.
Why are you guys talking so bad about Sam? What's wrong with
no,
Sam?
I love Sam. I love Sam.
Sam, I don't love Sam.
Okay.
I think Sam is a useful,
tell
asset.
To tell people that your down payment on a house will go up with
No,
knowing
will
Sam?
go away.
We'll
it will
go-
disappear.
Yeah, it'll go away. with
It'll
Sam.
it'll disappear when you hang out
Okay,
with Sam
I
too often.
misunderstood
The
that.
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner will come and take you and Sam.
Sam is Sam, and we'll leave that at that.
Guys, I think that's a
think
good
that's a good
I think
wrapping
that's a
point,
good wrap
yeah.
point. What I do want to say real quick before we do, Mr. Nerd, you said that we're not talking about black holes today. Is there something that we should be talking about black holes?
I will
today?
say this.
Or-
I will say this, nerd, real quick.
We did talk about black holes the other time.
We
so I
did
think
talk
that's
about black
context.
holes, but I will say right before, I think it was right before the podcast started, or maybe like right when it started, he mentioned something about a Dyson
It was
sphere.
right. No, it was right in the beginning.
Yeah,
It was right in the
I made a
beginning.
comment about. Do we really want to get into space again?
Well, yeah, Max mentioned something about a Dyson sphere, and then immediately Justin was like, "Let's not start this again." We went off on a
We
tangent
literally
last
did
time.
it 2 weeks ago.
I will say
Dyson
though,
spheres are cool though.
to loop back to last time in our space topic, I want to say congratulations to the hardworking people over at NASA.
Yeah, dude. The deployment was successful
So far.
on the solar
Yes.
shield.
Yep. So far, it's
Right.
so far so good.
Also, did you guys see any of the footage of out the window of the solar probe that's going to the sun? I don't know if you guys know about that.
No, I haven't
There's-
heard about that.
There's a probe that is going literally to the
They're
sun.
just sending it to the
yeah,
sun.
they're literally just sent a probe to the sun.
Crash course to the sun, baby. Let's
yeah,
go.
no, I mean that's pretty much what it is.
NASA, dude. The NASA
I mean,
scientists. Wait,
it's-
hold on.
it's
Hold
out-
on. They're like, okay, what's our next project? And there's like this guy that's like all stressed out, this like overworked scientist, and he's like,
Just throw the fucking thing at the sun.
he's like, okay, I have an idea, and you gotta bear with me on this one. We build a satellite, a probe, and we launch it into the sun. And everyone at the board table meeting was like,
They dropped their papers.
they're like, how much are you making a year? Because we're gonna double that. We're doing it, baby.
It's
the
actually
best
really
thing about
it's
space is
amazing
you
to
just have to
see.
give it a small push and it'll just keep going.
Yeah,
Exactly.
All you gotta do is
right?
go.
Once
there it
you
goes.
get it out of the
It's actually more like this.
250
The
foot-
sun's over here, and they need to send it into the sun, so they're gonna push it this way in hopes that eventually
Yeah,
it'll line
right.
up.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. But yeah, no, there's some really cool footage of like solar flares really close to the probe. I don't know. It's something that we've never seen before.
I'll have
so
to,
that's
I'll
why
have to
it's
check it
neat.
out. I can't wait. I'm like, okay, so really quick before we wrap up, I got into a conversation with somebody at Honda about this. One of my coworkers. I pissed off one of my coworkers.
Correct.
Could you give us a first name?
No,
Initial.
we'll call him Jay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So I was talking to him, and he was really excited. He was talking about this telescope,
Okay.
and
Wait, which telescope?
the James Webb.
James Webb.
Yeah.
There's honestly a lot of different telescopes.
Jay
out there,
really
so-
likes
Yeah,
the
the
James
new
Webb.
one, the
There's
James
like,
Webb.
There's like 7 different telescopes.
So I was talking to him, and he
George Webb.
he was like really excited about it and talking about it, and I was like, I made a comment, and I'm like, my humor is very, as we all know, very like satire,
Yeah.
like sarcastic.
Yeah.
It's monotone and everything. And I made a comment, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll be excited for when it deploys successfully. And I said that.
That's a pretty
I said
funny, but still
a fair statement,
yeah, it's a
right?
fair statement.
That's a
Like,
fair statement.
You wouldn't be excited because that was the biggest part. That was the biggest step.
Remember, the Hubble telescope went up and
broke.
wasn't even functional
For 4 years.
because they had
4 years.
they had to send a new fucking lens
Imagine
to
trying to look at your boss and be like, "Hey."
it. Right. So
I just wanted to let you know.
so I made this
Remember that glass that we like spent like 3 years smoothing out? Yeah. It's not, it's
We
not
need a
soft
little
as we-
bit of a better one.
So I made that comment, and like he looked back at me, and this guy to my face said, "I can't believe that you'd make such an asinine comment." And I turned around.
Why is that asinine?
I turned around and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I can't believe someone like you, your age, your age group wouldn't be excited about this." I said, "Dude,
Of course we're.
I
excited.
actually am
thrilled
excited.
about it.
I just want to see it work. I
Yeah,
want to know that it'll work.
But like you have to remember, this is a massive investment for science and like the scientific community."
The George or
And it depends on like it depends on like 300 operations.
it has literally been
The
in
George Webb
development
Burger
for,
Telescope?
It's been in development for
since the Hubble launched.
yeah. It's been like 15 years. It was
Years.
theorized back then, but it's only been starting to be built. I mean, Mark Rober worked on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
He worked on a portion of the James Webb Telescope back
No.
when he was in NASA in like 2007.
That's fucking sick.
And now he obviously
The
is a
same,
YouTuber, but
the same man
who sends fucking packages and gets them ripped open and people get
sprays fart
confetti and
spray
fart
and
spray
get
all over
confetti and glitter everything.
But to loop back really quick, I made the comment mostly joking, but like there's a hint of seriousness to it because like legitimately that's a lot of operations that has to happen with being remote controlled and everything to happen right. And I wasn't serious
remote
about
controlled. It's almost automated.
Well,
Yeah.
right, and he was like pissed about it. He was like talking to me, and he was like he kept
Maybe
going.
he just
with
doesn't understand.
okay, I will be honest with you. This is an old guy,
Like how old?
like probably like 65, like I would say 60s.
So like he's been up. He's seen
A lot.
yeah.
He's seen men go to the moon.
Yeah.
He's seen the first satellites. He's seen what we have now, and has a phone in his pocket that's more powerful now than the first men that landed on the moon.
Well, I mean, if he's 65, that means he probably was born after Vietnam War.
Well, I don't know. And he also spent time in the military too.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly a statement in itself. There's a lot of people. I mean, it's odd. So.
right.
But I didn't say it to be an asshole. I was just like,
Well, no, it was a true statement.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I would probably be in the same boat. I'm not really excited for it until I'm not gonna be excited until I see the work of it.
right.
Truly.
And I feel like that's a fair statement to make. It's like a video game release. I'm not gonna be excited about a video game until it comes out and it goes, hey, this is because like let's
Until
be
you
honest,
actually play it and enjoy it.
the James Webb could be the scientific device known as cyberpunk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It could
All
be
the
all
hype-
this hype and then absolute letdown.
So okay, so fast forward a couple minutes, I try to justify what I said, and I was like, yeah, but like you have to remember, it's like an infrared telescope. It's not gonna look like the same pictures that we're seeing like come from the Hubble after they're like
Well,
colorized.
when we see them, NASA will obviously colorize them. And
Yeah, but you have to remember what we're gonna no matter what we
Well, yeah,
see,
it's not
it's
gonna
gonna be dots on a fucking piece of paper.
No, it'll still be high resolution images. It's just going to be of stuff we couldn't see with our naked eye. Like if you were to take a telescope and,
I think you're
and look
wrong.
at the same thing, we are going to be seeing things. This is going to be looking past something that we couldn't see because it is going to be looking past natural light.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing about it is it's seeing past natural light. It's not gonna be something that like you can slap down on a piece of paper.
Have you ever looked at a
like a raw Hubble?
no
image?
like a high quality infrared camera?
Connect.
Well, right, yeah, it shows.
Imagine a Connect, but multi-million-dollar.
Yeah, but it's
I see your point. I totally do. I completely get it. But it's no different than saying that a high quality camera, just because it's capturing visible light,
So that's-
it's going to be lesser quality.
it's funny
than
you're saying
something
that
that's
because that was
something
his same argument that he was giving me back when I
else.
was
I
talking
feel like
about it.
fundamentally it makes sense.
And then what I said, yeah, fundamentally, yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. I'm not just, and I
Yeah,
told
yeah.
that to him too. I'm like, you're not wrong. But what I said back is like, you have to remember, like, what we're gonna be seeing is not actually like
it's
what
not
it
gonna,
is.
It's not going to be better than the Hubble.
Well, right, you're not
It's
gonna be.
they're going to be used in tandem together.
Right, and my biggest point I said to him is for somebody like you and me, when we're looking at these scientific images and stuff, they're going to be brought back. We won't interpret them and have the same level of appreciation
Oh,
as somebody
no.
who will fully understand
Absolutely
the
not.
grasp of what they're looking at.
I mean, when
It'll
when
be cool.
someone
We can
looks
hold
at
it up and go,
something like
oh
that-
shit, that's pretty dope. But then that's about it for us.
Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck we're looking at.
We don't
and
know-
Then,
we
and then
don't
he's
know
like,
who
he's like
or
over
what
sitting
or
there.
where.
You're looking at the beginning of the universe. I'm like,
That's
sick.
okay. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. Okay, we got onto the topic of this last time we talked about the James Webb Telescope. The statement of being able to go back in time, that statement right there is so incorrect and not.
It's fundamentally wrong.
It is fundamentally wrong, but I see what they're saying. I get it. I get what they're saying, that they're going to be able to go back and see age around the time of the Big
Well,
Bang.
what we're seeing, just to be clear, I'm clarifying your statement.
We're going to be seeing things that are not okay.
Let me clarify your, because I know what you're trying to say. So we're going to be seeing light that is portraying images of something that happened that long ago, but realistically what's actually out there is going to be completely, significantly, utterly, and unbelievably different than what we're actually seeing.
So bear with me real quick. Quick thing. So
right, that's what you're saying, right? That's what you're trying to. Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
Big Bang, right? Boom, explodey, everything going everywhere. Technically, hypothetically, long term, if you were to speed up time, everything will forever be going in its own direction, and we will eventually get to a point where nothing exists other than us. We will look into the sky and we'll see nothing.
Yeah,
because everything's so far away.
Everything's spreading apart.
So hear me out. We're going this way. There was stuff that went that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a spherical explosion. Everything moves out in equal distance relatively. We will never see the stuff that went that way.
No,
we will literally never.
That's why they call it,
in our entire existence of anything. We will never see anything that went that way.
What you're describing is what is the term, the observable universe.
Exactly. And so,
as time goes on, things go outside of our.
We will only see things that are catching up to us. We will lose vision of things that are moving slower than us, and we will be able to capture things that are moving in on us from other directions. And if we catch up to things,
right?
But we will never be able to see
things that are already past the observable universe.
There is a cutoff of what we're able to see.
There's a term for that. It's like it's a wall. It's something. It's the something wall. It's like the Great Wall, or like the.
I think I know what you're talking about, but
not the Kyrgyzstan term for like where a society can get to. I'm talking about the term of
how visible the fundamentally
it's like the shielding wall, or there's a term for it.
I know
I
what you're
can't remember what
about.
it is. We'll just agree that there's a term for it.
There is. I know exactly what you're talking about. But my point is that I get that we're going to be able to see things that are old. I get that we're going to be able to see.
We're going to be seeing old light, not things that are old.
Exactly.
We're going to be seeing.
But that's regardless of the case, because we literally can't control that.
Right.
You literally can't control that unless you teleport to where you're looking.
My point with that is just it'll be cool. Like, nonetheless, regardless of what we're talking about, everything is going to be very cool when this happens. But what all I'm getting at is that. It's not actually like when they say, I think the term looking into the past confuses people, because fundamentally that statement is incorrect.
Yeah, no matter what you do, you are always hypothetically looking into the past when you look into space.
Well, picture it this way. Let's say we're going to look at something like close to the birth of the universe, and let's say there's people over there that are looking back at us. They're going to be seeing us when we were in our fucking like ice age period.
They're not even going to see us.
Before,
they're going to see masses. They're going to see a molten
rock of grossness
of just exploding rocks and meteors and just stuff flowing through space.
They're going to be seeing us at the same level.
I was just thinking of this in my head. Imagine, we're gone, dead. Human life is eradicated from the earth. Just finally, however many light years away, a civilization is finally able to see us, right? They're going to see us, and they're going to look through the telescopes, and they're going to be like, "Oh my God, there's life here." And they're going to send ships heading that way. We're already gone.
Yeah, we're long gone.
As if they were to hypothetically be able to watch our planet as they were going towards it, they would literally be watching the destruction of human.
But like in sped up, like if they were moving like a light.
Let's say they were moving like 99% of the speed of light. They would be seeing that
at 99%
in real time,
watching a fast lap.
But watching the creation. Earth destroy itself.
Yeah. They'd be watching us, the birth of humanity, us at our peak, our society now, and then the crumble of whatever.
It almost would be no different if we were to find civilization ourselves.
Well, I think that's why right now, and there's so much talk about becoming an interplanetary species, because in order for us to survive, we can't rely on this limited rock to keep us going forever.
We can't rely on it now.
Right.
We could have probably back in like the 70s or some shit, but like now
it's done.
We are past the point of recovery.
Yeah, like we are gonna keep using and using and using, and like I've accepted that. Like, it's just how it is.
And it's not gonna be in our lifetime.
No,
in our lifetime, this planet will probably just get even worse and worse, and probably 20 generations down the line, we'll start to see like true intergalactic.
I genuinely don't believe that the world leaders can rally together to honestly save the planet in the way that it needs to be saved in order for it to be sustainable for an extended period of time.
Naturally, humans are too selfish.
Like we just like it's either the we got to get out of here and go find something else that we can do to become interplanetary, or we will never get off this planet.
People want to say that space travel is going to be unified, but that's not going to be the case.
No, so there's a game that I used to play called Minor Wars 2081, and I talked to you guys about this in the past. And it was a game where there was like this whole it was based in the Milky Way, and you would fast travel between all these different areas. But it was funny because the way that they structured it is there was different spatial factions, and there was Russia, which was seceded back into USSR. So there was the USSR region, and then there was the United Nations, which was a play on the United States.
NATO, everything.
Yeah, there was NATO, Europe, all those, they had their own. And then there was like pirate sectors where it was like sort of
Just
loosey-goosey.
break off, yeah.
Everybody just kind of like
Mercenary
banding together
type
to
thing.
do shit like rob like transport ships and stuff like that for their own benefit. So there was like all these factions, and I believe in the future that is probably how it will work, because humanity does not.
Just because we're on a planet doesn't mean that if we move outside of the planet, there's still not going to be conflict.
No, there will be 100%.
It'll just be even higher scale conflict.
yeah,
Literally,
massively.
we think now that nuclear bombs are like this horrible thing, which they are obviously, but like in a destruction way.
There are
of
asteroids
planet.
out there that are literally made of nothing but like plutonium. Imagine being able to
Exactly.
mine that and just like, hey, I'm just gonna shoot this at the,
Not
like,
even
the Federated.
that.
you know?
Imagine if you were to create something that like something equivalent to like a Halo, where it eradicated everything in
a super weapon, right?
in the whole.
It's like imagine being able to harvest a Dyson sphere for use for a weapon.
Exactly, right?
How do you protect yourself against
Exactly.
that?
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like we've seen.
Actually, I lied. It's not gonna be nations. It'll be the Google faction. It'll be the Facebook faction.
we're going
and
back to
it'll-
what we were
and
saying
it'll
before.
be the Amazon
Disney.
faction. Yeah.
Disney, Amazon, Microsoft,
And then there'll be a
Sony.
SpaceX like faction and shit like that. That's how it's.
I'm gonna be a part of the SpaceX. I'm on there. Bro.
I made a joke. I don't remember who I said this to earlier, but I said something. I was like, it's crazy. Like realistically, it's crazy to think that some of the like largest tech companies out there in the world today have legitimately more buying power and more influence than like governments. Like some of the top nations out there. These tech companies have more influence than like a
I mean,
nation.
let's be honest. The conglomerate of all the money that U.S. companies have here on soil probably are more than double-digit countries combined elsewhere in the world.
Well, that's well, you just are literally talking about GDP, and the United States I actually don't believe has the highest GDP, because you have to remember there's
Well, no, I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying the U.S.
oh, you're just saying
compared
like
to all-
you could group a whole bunch
Yeah,
up and
if
we'd
you were
be,
to, if you were to go to the bottom list of all
was
the
like,
countries,
you literally just described GDP.
You could probably take like the worst 40 countries and probably still have more higher GDP.
Yeah, it
in
would
the
be a lot of
US.
aries in the Middle East and
Oh,
like all of
yeah.
Africa.
It would be a lot of undeveloped countries.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
regardless, the point still stands that one country is more developedly enhanced than another 50.
And that brings us back to our wonderful conversation we had the other
Exactly.
week.
And we
How
don't- we
far
don't-
left behind is too far.
And we
Man.
don't even need to get into
And
that.
with that,
And ladies and gentlemen, that's how one mention of black holes can start a tangent.
Yep. It was you. It was all you, nerd.
Yep.
All right? If you're listening, buddy, it was all you. Alrighty, guys. Well, it's coming down to that point of time.
damn, that was a long podcast.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely a
Yeah, it was.
long, fast podcast, honestly.
Yeah, it went by.
No table, that's what it was.
The
The
table.
table.
Yeah.
The table sped it up.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. We appreciate it. We are once again, just to wrap things up. I'm Max, better known as Glitch Penguin,
I'm Justin, otherwise known as Fallen Wolf.
And I am Mike, also known as Silver Zambi.
and we are the Caffeinated Creators founders. And it's awesome to be here and streaming for you guys and do stuff like this, because of you guys, we're able to do cool things like this and have different avenues of content. We hope you enjoy. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, awesome. And we're excited to see this is going to be the release of our audio. So hopefully, hopefully
the
all
new
your audio
audio
listeners are
listeners.
out there. Make sure you guys stay posted in the Discords. If you haven't already, make sure you head on over to caffeinatedcreators.cc, unless it has
It's working.
changed.
It's working.
No,
It's
it's
working.
working.
And you guys can get all the updates for any events, whether we do GTA or we do any other thing else going in the future. But make sure you guys keep yourself tuned. Make sure you check out all the podcast sites. Check it over.
And if you get really cool with us, we'll send you invites to our invitational events that we do.
Hey, there we go. Yeah.
Very true.
Just talk in the Discord, all right? We'll see you guys in there. All right, have a good
Alrighty.
night, everybody. We'll see you guys then. Thank you so much.